to another day, another episode, another week of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about two stories of Arc Raiders. You have Arc Raiders has a cheater problem, but Embark says significant changes are coming, detection and ban systems. We're also going to talk about Arc Raiders' first expedition saw over 1 million players wipe, but Embark wants to find a new way to incentivize resets. Only 1 million people. 12 plus million people have bought this game, and yet only 1 million people wipe. I told you, not many people are going to be wiping in this game. We're also going to talk about GameStop closes hundreds of stores as CEO eyes $35 billion payout. And then we're also going to watch a video from Bellular News, talk about what happened to Naughty Dog. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. If you like to, there's also a TTS Monster, which is a link where if you want to get your thing heard on stream, you can use that to get your comment or whatever up on stream. If not, I'm still going to read chat. I'm still doing all those things that I've done for the last 2 years. So appreciate it very much. How's it going, chat? Hope everyone had a good weekend. What did we do this weekend? I don't even know what I did this weekend. We did that uneventful. Oh, we finished. We're like 99% done with the whole shed that we built. We got the gym. We got the garage set up. We've got the storage all thing. We took down Christmas yesterday. Used the storage unit that we have now. All we're missing now is the door that goes on the storage unit, which comes on Tuesday. But we're almost done. It's been like 3 months since October I've been working on this goddamn thing. So that's what I did this weekend. This weekend I also played. This weekend I played a lot of Roadcraft. Roadcraft is the game I played mostly this weekend. Played a little bit of Mario Maker. My son was making some courses, and he wanted to see me, rage out. So he gave it to me. Still ripped. I've been doing it every single day so far. What are we, 11 days in? 11 days in, I haven't lifted a weight yet. But what I have been doing all turn is I've been doing all stretch exercises. So my goal for this month is literally just get my body stretched and able to move again, because I couldn't even touch my back before, and now I can touch my back. But you see my arm is still problems, but now I can actually touch my back and whatnot. I've been doing shoulder exercises and stuff like that, but no weights. I haven't lifted one weight yet, just stretching for the first month. Then come February, that's when I start lifting weights. So slowly but surely, my goal for this year is, Water Bear says 170 grams of protein a day. Let's go, 30. Yeah, so once February comes, that's when I start lifting weights and stuff. So this year is to get healthy again. Even though I'm healthy, but in shape. I want to get in shape. What's going on, chat? All right, let's see. Travis, what's going on? Good morning, Jason, Altern, Eclipse, Stealth Gaming. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Roic, good morning. Sarge, good morning. Water Bear, good morning. Big Mo. Who am I missing? Scrolling down. Jesse Mack, good morning. Jason, good morning. And I think that is everybody. Chopper, what's going on? Eric, good morning. There we go. And Aku, good morning. Everybody else that comes in, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, let's start off with GameStop, shall we? What's going on, Jax? Let's start off with GameStop. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. So GameStop closes hundreds of stores as CEO eyes $35 billion payout. Okay. So GameStop is closing hundreds of stores just days into the new year as CEO Ryan Cohen aims to take home $35 billion in performance-based stock options. Reports that gaming and pop culture retailers would soon close stores started to emerge soon after 2026 began. Some shoppers were able to find a shared signage warning that the location would soon shut down, offering a 20% trade-in bonus for a limited time as compensation. Been going to GameStop for over 12 years, it says. Sad to see it go. All the best to you guys. Okay. So you got notices all over. You guys have been saying in Discord and whatnot that your GameStop has been closing. It says the store is closed effectively of 1/8/26. A different sign posted on Reddit January 2nd says, thank you for being a loyal GameStop customer. Signs that instruct customers with a game memorabilia reservations to travel to new stores to pick up their purchases, but the sudden nature and wide reports have left GameStop buyers with more questions than answers. With reports that also seem to be dozens of stores closures online, a blog that tracks GameStop actively uses employee reports and company store locator claims to have recorded 390 store closures. Okay. An additional 10 stores are still in process of being confirmed to have shut down, which is accurate, brings the total to around 400 shuttered GameStop locations, a little more than 1 week into the year. It's also another hit to GameStop's physical presence in the gaming market, with also a December 2025 filing that the company noting had a cease operations of 590 locations in the U.S. in fiscal 2024. Now, once again, the Titan, known for giving power to the players, seems to be keeping with the future plans, too, with the same document saying that they anticipated closing a significant number of additional stores in fiscal 2025. For the last 10 years, GameStop has closed more stores than it's opened in the U.S. each year, with closures often numbering up to the hundreds. Meanwhile, GameStop announced earlier this week that Cohen, who took over the CEO in September of 2023, is up to receive a staggering $35 billion in performance-based stock options. So for Cohen to receive the payout, the company board of directors states that GameStop would need to reach a market capitalization of $100 billion and before interest, taxes, depreciation, achieve $10 billion in cumulative performance. GameStop market cap currently sits around $9.5 billion. So I wonder why these stores are closing, huh? The award is designed to officiate Mr. Cohen to achieve extraordinary growth, the announcement says. GameStop has looked at new bizarre ways to gain traction in recent years and continues to double down the collectibles and memes. August 2023 saw a company pull out of crypto, moving Shutter into short-lived NFT marketplace. Just a few months later, more recently, as much as more dismay of the employees, it held a first-ever trade-in anything day, which also saw customers bringing literally anything in for trade-in. People were bringing in, like, dead animals and whatnot. Earlier this week, New Zealand Herald reported that GameStop EB Games branch had made a proposal to close the remaining stores in New Zealand. So there you go. So GameStop, we've talked about GameStop. You could go back, chat, to you could probably pick a random episode of Generation X Gaming, which is a podcast over on Spotify. It's all updated for you guys. You could go back to as far as like 2017, 2018. Me and Sarge were like, this company's done in 7 years. Obviously, we were wrong about being done, but man, has GameStop changed in the 7 years from what it was. It almost went bankrupt, then got included into the stock shorting incident that happened in 2020, 2021, where people made a shit ton of money. A movie was made off of it. What's going on, Roadkill? And then they went to kind of like internet cafe. Now it's sort of like a Spencer's. Like you go in there, there's like T-shirts and toys, and you walk into a GameStop. Chat, when's the last time you guys walked into a GameStop? An actual walked into the GameStop to not go there to look at it like as a museum, to go to GameStop and actually purchase something. When's the last time? Morning Wonder Rose. When's the last time you guys walked into a GameStop, EB, wherever it is where you were, to actually go purchase something? Okay. A few years now, Eric says. Travis says last week. What'd you buy, Travis, last week? What did you buy when you went there? What video game did you buy? Water says, I purchased some shirts a few years ago from there. Got myself a copy of Atomic Heart. Did you pay full price? Did you pay full price? Yeah. If you didn't pay full price, you're a brokey, as they say, right? You got to buy full price. You got to pre-order it. You got to pay full price for the game. Aku says a month ago, looking for a nunchuck for the Wii. Just Enough says less than a year, but it was for a gift. I tried it after Christmas and it was closed. That's crazy. Jax says it used to be one a week. Yeah, but when's the last time you went though, Jax? Did you say the last time you went? A clip says, maybe 4 years ago, I bought a Cobra Kai shirt for $5. 4 years ago, you bought a T-shirt at GameStop. No wonder GameStop is closing, right? It says GameStop. They should just change it to Shirt Shop. The last time I went to GameStop was probably about a month and a half ago. We didn't buy anything. And then the time before that, we went into a GameStop. And it's always, the only reason I go to a GameStop is like, I went to Walmart and it's in the same shopping plaza. I was like, hey, let's go check it out. Or my wife went to Sephora and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to GameStop. You know what I mean? Me and my son, we walk into GameStop and then we just look around. I haven't bought anything from GameStop. I couldn't even tell you. It's been years. It's been years. I think the last time I bought something at GameStop, hold on. Actually, I think I know. Hold on. There might be a receipt in one of these things because this is the last time. The last time I went to GameStop and bought something at GameStop. Heary. GameStop. Chat, what do you think the date is? This is the last, truly. Here, just to put in perspective, this is separate. So it was these games. Well, these games I bought: Last of Us, Horizon, and MLB The Show, and God of War, which I don't know where it is. God of War, right? And then since then, that was it. When's the last time? Mr. Luke says 2019. Any other guesses? What's going on, Mr. Luke? Jesse Mack says 2014. Clip says 2021. Altern says 2018. Okay. Wait, the look like Sony's boxes, but that can't be a Pro Xbox. So here it is. Ready? 12, 31, 18. December 31st of 2018. That's the last time I purchased something from GameStop. Because most of the times, all the physical... Yeah, Altern got it with 2018. Mr. Luke was just a smidgen off. The last time I buy games now from... I'll buy it at Best Buy. I'll buy it at Target. I'll buy it on Amazon. Right? Or now I just get digital, right? Justin Dow says, why do you still have a fucking receipt? You don't ever take your receipt and just shove it into a bag? Like inside one of the containers? I always do that. When I buy a system or something, I take the receipt and put it in the box. Or I take it and put it in the actual container. See, here's the reason. I don't know if you know this just enough, but this is called a game. This is called a video game. And this is a box that games used to come in. Had a plastic thing. It used to open. It has a hinge, and it opens up, and it has the disc, right? It has a disc, right? And then there's a little slab here, and you just take it and you just shove it in there, and then you close this, and then it's called a time capsule. And you take the time capsule, and you put it right here. You put it right on your shelf. You put it on your shelf right there, okay? And boom, you never think about it again. What do you mean? Why do I still have a receipt? That's it. It's not like I put the receipt in there and go, I'm gonna bring it up on a later show. That's why I said, oh, wait a minute, I might have an actual receipt in one of these boxes, so you don't lose a receipt just in case you got to return something. Travis says, I still go to GameStop, but I moved largely to Amazon. Eclipse says, most of the games I buy them from a yard sale. I love retro. Jack says, before the new year started, they must have had a 50% off. I bought all 4 games. All 4 games, Jax. I bought Horizon, Last of Us, God of War, and MLB 2017 for the grand total of $40. Yeah, all 4 of those games for $40. Actually, I think it was like $30 if I'm not mistaken. Well, actually, I can tell you. Hold on. I actually can tell you. $36.19. $36.19. 4 games, $36.19. Maybe they want to return the games 8 years after you purchased it. Maybe. Titan, what's going on, Titan? Says, I don't like receipts. They fade in color. That's why you don't like receipts? I fucking hate receipts. You know why? They degrade over time. I hate to break it to you, Titan. Everything degrades in time. Your house that you live in right now is fading in color. Your grass, your toys outside, your car, they're all fading in color. Informative and thrifty. Excellent. That's right. And still rip off. One of those games are old. I hate GameStop. Travis says, I hate receipts. You know, why they remind me I bought Avengers. I bought Avengers for $6. It was $6 for PlayStation. $6. Aku says, I probably still have my receipt for GameStop to buy Skyrim in 2011. I have, in some of the cases I have from the 360 games and stuff like that, there's probably a receipt. When I bought that game, I probably just take the receipt and I just shove it in the case. They're like little time capsules. All right. Let's go from that one. Let's go to Arc Raiders. What's going on, crowd? I started playing the Division 1. That game is amazing. I wish I played it when it came out. Look, Division 1, I love Division 1. If you haven't played the survival, have you played the survival in that game, crowded? That is the best game mode. Forget all these battle royales. Forget all these extraction shooters, right? Go play the survival inside of the Division. It's fantastic. And they're bringing it back 10 years later inside of Division 2. Look, he bought Avengers. That's correct. Twice, Altern. Yeah, you can't shame someone that has no shame. All right. I bought it full price on Xbox, and then I bought it for, I can't remember if it was $6 or $8 for PlayStation, like a year later. You can't shame someone that doesn't give a shit. Receipts that fade out, so you can't return an item. I mean, there is this thing, Titan, that you can take a picture of it. You can scan it into a computer. They'll still take it. They don't need the original receipt. If they have a receipt and you can prove that that's what it is, then they'll still take it. Why did you bought it back? Why did I buy it back or brought it back? I bought it because I wanted to play the Spider-Man character in for PlayStation. Because Spider-Man wasn't on Xbox. Eclipse says, I bought the PlayStation 5 and the PC, but they also were both $3 purchases, and it was right before it closed down. Yeah, buy it twice. I bought it twice because of Spider-Man. And it was the worst rendition of Spider-Man in the game since the Sega Genesis version. It was pretty bad. And the swinging mechanics in that game was horrendous. Horrendous. All right. We've got two stories for Arc Raiders. We got two stories for Arc Raiders. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Make sure you guys hit that like button. That also helps us out here. More than you know. More than you know. All right, so Arc Raiders. First expedition saw over 1 million player wipe, okay? But Embark wants to find ways to incentivize reset. Now, before I even read this, okay, before the game even came out and they started talking about the reset mechanic, okay, now, I want to make this very clear. I stay where I am in my lane. And I've always said that people do not like resetting characters. People do not like it. And people say, oh, no, people love it in, Path of Exile. They love it in Diablo. They love it in other games as well. And I always tell you that's the smallest amount of people possible. Here we are at the next game that does resets. And before the game even came out, I said, very few people are going to reset. And I said, if they do reset, they won't reset until after they know if it's worth it or not. Okay. This time around, I think you have less people reset. Okay. After the season 2 or after this next, whatever the next, is it a season? I think it's seasons, right? Expedition, the next expedition, right? 1 million people. Now we do know. Now, this would sound phenomenal if we didn't know they sold over 12 million copies. Okay? Do you know what I mean? If we didn't know the 12 million people, we'd be like, 1 million people? Wow, that's fucking amazing. 1 million people resetted. That means 11 million people did not reset. Okay? Which I said would happen because who wants to put all their time in and be like, I think I'm going to start again? Apparently, right? Evidently, like, let's say I played for 8 weeks, right? And I just got the blueprint for the gun I was looking for. And then it says, hey, do you want to reset? You're like, fuck no, I don't want to reset. I'll lose the blueprint. I just got that. It took 8 weeks to find, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why would you buy something if it's full price, if the thing right next to it is the exact same thing for less? You wouldn't buy the thing full price. You would buy it for cheaper, right? Why would you reset your character to reset all the stuff that you just got? You wouldn't. It doesn't make sense, right? So Arc Raiders, first expedition saw over 1 million players wipe, but Embark wants to find a new way to incentivize reset, right? So Arc Raiders design director reveals that Embark is studying loads of data to figure out what direction to take the optional wipes in next. Here's the thing. The minority of the people that like resets would hate if you changed it. Be like, oh, no, you're giving away too much. It should feel like something, right? They want to feel respected, right? Like, think about this for a second. The people that want to reset are like, yeah, no, keep it because it makes me feel they want to be respected. So you're giving them 5 spots and they have enough money. They get the more storage, right? They get to get an emote or a thing. You have to make something to respect the players' time that want to reset, but you also have to respect the players' time that don't want to reset, right? They're like, why do I want to get rid of all of this? So the respecting of time just switches over. It's like, hey, do you want to reset because we're going to take all this away from you, but we're giving you this? Is this enough to respect your time? 1 million people said, sure, right? And I think 1 million people did it because they wanted to know what it was. And remember, they didn't tell us what we were getting until like a week before. It says there are a myriad of reasons why Arc Raiders not only attracted a huge player count at launch, but also managed to buck the typical trend of sustain them. The biggest, in my view, is how they caters to the most casual of players with elements of the aggression-based matchmaking and free loadout system, while also giving the multiplayer game most dedicated high-skill grinders something to aim for with the optional wipes. Known as Expedition Projects, the first took place last month, and it was an opportunity for top raiders to start fresh. Okay? Some of the additional perks and rewards. However, from speaking with Arc Raiders designer director Virgil Watkins, I've just learned that the debut wipe was more popular than anticipated. So they thought it was going to be less, but they also probably didn't think they were going to sell 12 million copies. Do you know what I mean? So it says, wiping, as always, has been one of the big hurdles facing the extraction shooter when it comes to attracting new players and achieving mass appeal. Arc Raiders' decision to make the account wipes optional, objective-based, is no doubt one of the big factors of the mainstream success. To wipe, you must collect and craft items, donate them to the Expedition Project, completing pages until you reach the final requirement. Here, the goal generates as much stash value as possible to order to gain maximum amount of bonus points for the skill tree, which then lasts for 8 weeks window until the next wipe. And when I ask about the learnings Watkins and his team have also taken the first expedition, he concedes and says the Embark would have made information about the stash value a bit less sudden and murky. He says, quote, one of the bigger topics or feedback was the requirement for the final stage to get the skill points, and probably going to be a bit too late with that information, because he wanted to hold off until we could calibrate around the actual economy of the player base, rather than trying to guess really early on, he explains. So when he was also choose the number, we also had 5 million credits for the full thing. He set the aspirational goal that some players might achieve. But then I think a lot of players took that as like, well, now I have to do that again or to get it. So Watkins reveals that the little over 1 million players completed the first expedition and wiped their accounts, and estimates that something close to about 35 to 40% of those players did get the full skill points. So there you go. So we're talking about 1 million people, and about 350,000 to 400,000 people got the full reward, right, for grinding and grabbing all the stuff. He says, while it seems happy with that level of engagement, it is aware that it's going through the process could be made more interesting in the future. He says, quote, we completely acknowledge that this is the most engaging thing than just to go for money, and it has the potential outcome of de-incentivizing using your gear, and then kind of that people look forward to towards the end of the reset cycle, he says. So yeah, we're looking to revision on that. Embark also is now investigating several aspects to determine the direction of the move expeditions in for the future. If studying the data and players who also are taking things a bit slower are chipping away at the first expedition at their own pace, seeing that there are also ways to bring a little bit more variety to the process and incentive participations. Embark's keen to these players and not feel as though they're also being left behind, according to Watkins. Okay. It says also analyzing how players that wipe are reacting to the rewards they got. And to be honest, it sounds like if they got a boatload of stats to pour over, and we can also see a much individual pieces of rubbered people donated, he says. As things stand, the game's second expedition features are largely the same type of requirements as the first, but it does sound as if there are potential for a final stage to evolve. Per the in-game countdown, in the time of writing this, Embark got 43 days until the actual reset window opens. That feels like enough time to cook up a fresh challenge of also waiting and wiping, or wanting to wipe and earn maximum extra skill points, but we'll see. So it says, keep your eyes on this and more conversations about Watkins of Arc Raiders, enormous success, and what the future holds for Extraction Shooter. Now, obviously, the game is, you can't deny that this game is very successful, okay? But the endgame aspect of this game, I would say, is not successful. Now, in their eyes, obviously, they said it's more than they've anticipated that would actually do the wipe. But there was something of balance, right? Because leading up to it, they were kind of dodgy about what was the wipe. They wouldn't tell us weeks before. They waited for like the last week, and they're like, hey, here's what you get. You get 5 points, and then they changed it, right? They actually changed it 3 days before the actual wipe happened, where if people did the wipe, you would actually lose. You were supposed to keep your workbenches, but now they reset the workbenches and whatnot. And this is one of the things I don't like, is like, you're promoting this thing that we're all going for, the expedition, which they said 9 weeks before the actual, the whole thing, before even the game came out. They're like, oh yeah, we have this expedition and this is what we're going to do, but we don't know how it's going to work. And then the season started, people were diving in, the expedition came in. Once you hit level 20, you start putting towards it. And everyone's like, well, what do we get? What do we get? We didn't know what we got until like a week before. And then halfway through that week, they changed what they originally said to something different now, right? So it's very interesting that didn't surprise me that only 1 million people of the 12 million people reset it, because again, I would say the majority of the player base is casual gamers that play maybe 2 to 5 hours a week. They're probably nowhere near getting what it is, even though you watch a YouTuber and the YouTuber's like, yeah, I did this and I did in 7 hours. I got this whole thing complete. But that's what they do. That's their job. That's what they do. There's people telling them, hey, if you do this, right? So it's much easier for them to do it. Where someone that has a 40, 50, 60-hour week job, they come home, they're like, oh, I really love this game I'm playing. And then they just finally get the blueprint. And then all of a sudden, they have to reset and they're like, eh. Now, going forward, because we know about the aggressive-based matchmaking, now that we know that people can get into PvE matches and kind of just do what they want, this kind of changes the whole dynamic of this endgame stuff, right? Because now we know streamers and non-streamers know that there's a PvE thing, and they can do things a lot faster knowing that they're not going to get ganked or they're going to lose their stuff. They can just do it much faster. So it'll be very interesting to see if this season or this expedition, more people reset. And I do think that there won't be more people resetting. There actually might be less people resetting, unless the rewards, as I state this on, what's today's date? The 12th? On January 12th, unless they change the actual rewards to make it more incentivize you to do something, more people are not going to do it. Even for the extra 5 points, even if they lower the point value of the money that you have to put in, the same people that resetted, majority of them will reset. Some of the people that resetted was like, it's not worth it. I'm not going to do it again. Okay. Unless they come out with something really fantastic and it's like, oh, this is so totally worth it, it's going to go lower, I think, right? If it's just above 1 million, I think it's less than 1 million this next expedition. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Were you one of the people that played Arc Raiders, and did you do the reset, or did you do the wipe or not? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe if you like what I do here. Check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Eclipse says, correction, 30 million. 30 million what? 30 million sales? All right, let me scroll back up here. Crowd says, as of now, the extra points you can also earn a cap of 15, and you also have to be resetting to keep those points. Eclipse says it's less than changes, and I'm not resetting next time if I was not worth it at all. Travis says, 30, what I'm hearing you say is the season mode sucked, and we should get rid of them. Well said. Who should get rid of what? What they're doing for the season? Crowd says, this is why I kind of feel like they're giving people a choice. Doesn't really work in the long run. Yeah, we'll see what happens in the long run. Water Bear says there's a lot more casuals who play Arc than the crowd that also plays all the time. No casual wants to reset because they work so hard to gather the mats and stuff. Ron says, rip Anthem. Yeah, Anthem is done today. This is the last day, or it's already gone, or is this the last day for Anthem? Jesse Mack says, give us a reason. What's wrong, Jesse Mack? Give us a reason why you want to reset or get 5 million money to reset your character. Get the fuck out of here. Eclipse says, I actually tried to play yesterday. Could not download. EA said did not own the game. And Eclipse says, it hits 400,000 every weekend, Travis. It looks like you're wrong on the facts because I got the fact. Yeah, it almost broke the overall record that it set right when it came out. It almost broke that again 2 months later, which is nuts. Krebby says, what if people who reset get a new map like a week early? The people may say, but how is that fair? Yeah, I don't think you could do that with maps, Krebsy. I mean, I like what they did for the maps for like the community, like to open Salamantis, like everybody had to, donate materials or whatnot to open it up. I think that's a way to do the map thing. I don't think they should do that. I don't think they're wrong about what they're doing with like cosmetics, extra stashes, different things. I think the way they went about it, as far as like you have to have 5 million coins to get the extra points, like you're kind of just making people grind just to get the extra things. I don't think that's good. But it's the blueprint stuff, right? I get that they want you. It's almost like a new game plus, right? When you play a game all the way through, you put like 60 hours into a game, and then you reset new game plus, and you lose all the stuff that you have to get back. A lot of people don't like that, right? You play a new game plus, but you want to keep certain things, but you don't want to keep certain things. That's what this reminds me of. This reminds me of, oh, you lose all the blueprints. It's like, oh, great. Now I have to run around the map to 100 different locations just to find the blueprints again. That's in a normal single-player game. Now in this game, it's like random where they drop and if they drop. So, I don't know. That's definitely not respecting the player's time. Reset all the blueprints, reset your workbenches, reset all that stuff, but you get 5 points in your storage and 5 points in your, you get 12 spots in your storage, and you get an additional 5 points for your skill tree. Let's see here. In my early COD years, I would prestige all the time. After a year, I stopped because I had more fun with the unlocks. Right. That's what I never understood about in like Battlefield or Call of Duty when you like prestige and you reset and did it again. I was like, why do I want to reset to do the gun again? Just so someone can see that the number went up to 12 or 13. You know what I mean? That never really made sense to me. Like, I just want to, like, I unlock a weapon, but then I have to prestige it, and then I have to do it again. And it's like, no, I'm good. All right, let's see. Let's go to the other story, which is Arc Raiders cheaters. Okay. So apparently there's a lot of cheaters. Welcome to video games in 2025. Okay. Arc Raiders has a cheater problem, but Embark says significant changes are coming, detection and the ban systems. I wonder how many of the people that are cheaters are in that million spot of people finishing the expedition. I would love to know that. That would be very interesting to know if the people that are cheating are the majority of the people that finish the expedition and reset it. I would love to know that stat. Obviously, we're not going to ever know that stat, but that would be a very interesting stat to know. Right? If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. You can also use the TTS Monster. The link is up in the pinned comment up above. Arc Raiders has a cheater problem, but Embark says significant changes are coming to detection and the ban system. So out-of-the-map glitches are also being targeted. Okay? Like any other multiplayer game, newly minted with millions of players, Arc Raiders has a cheater problem. But as of today, Embark says it's on it. Okay? We've seen the discussion around the topic of cheaters in Arc Raiders. Please know that we're also taking issues very seriously, and we're also listening to it. In the acting of your feedback, Embark said at the Arc Raiders Discord server. It says, quote, over the next few weeks, we're implementing significant changes to our rule sets and deploying new detection mechanisms to identify the remove of cheaters. This includes updating anti-cheat systems to improve detection and bans, as well as applying client-side fixes specifically addressing out-of-the-map glitches. Furthermore, we're introducing tools for streamers to help mitigate the stream sniping. Okay. While it's important for a good Embark reinforce the anti-cheat priorities early on, it is arriving at the heels of a wildfire unrest of the outsized is true impact over the last few days. Streamers have been quick to declare that Arc Raiders is already killing its potential. Both the truth is that the average player is unlikely to regularly run into wall hackers while also casually scavenging for springs, especially if you're a peaceful player in little PvP experience. Oh yeah, because if you're in a PvE world, right? If you're in a PvE world, you're probably not coming across the people that are hackers, because the hackers can do wall hacks and stuff, and they're seeing people. If they can see people, they're killing people. If they're killing people, they're not falling into the peaceful players. So those people, and I would assume the majority of people are PvE players, okay? Just like I assume the majority of the players wouldn't reset at the first expedition. It says, Embark says, Raiders, we've seen the discussion around the topic of cheaters and Arc Raiders. Please know that we're also taking issues very seriously and we're listening to and acting on your feedback. Over the next few weeks, we're implementing significant changes to our rule sets, deploying detection mechanisms to identify and remove cheaters. This includes updating the anti-cheat system for improved detection and bans, as well as applying client-side fixes specifically addressing the out-of-the-map glitch. Furthermore, we're introducing tools to streamers to help mitigate the stream sniping. Thank you for your valuable feedback. You know what I think they should do? Do you know what I think they should do? Here's what I think they should do. First offense, this is what you do, ready? You move the cheaters into their, since they have aggressive-based matchmaking, I don't know how they would do this, chat, but they should take all the cheaters, and every time they load in, they only load in with other cheaters, okay? Because obviously, cheaters don't like to go up against other people that are cheating. They want people that are not cheating so they can rule the land. But now if those cheaters go into an all cheaters lobby, they would fundamentally just filter themselves out, right? Because they would be cheating, and then the people they're going up against are cheating, and then they're doing exactly what they didn't want to do in the first place, which was actually compete, actually have competition, and actually, you know, they want to be the ones that are shitting on people. But then it comes back down to skill-based matchmaking, because if you're cheating and I'm cheating, but I'm still a better player than you, well, guess what? It doesn't matter how many cheats you use, because if a good player is using cheats, he's going to be a great player, and if a person's a shitty player using cheats, they're still going to be a shitty player, right? So just put them in their own thing. Then, once they leave, okay, and they happen to come back, well, then you ban them for the full extent of the expedition, right? So let's say you cheated on day 1 of Expedition 3. Well, guess what? You're not coming back. They don't ban you for life. They just ban you for the entire expedition, right? Because most people that cheat are like the dog from Up. Squirrel, right? And they'll leave because they're not being engaged with. And they're like, I don't give a shit about this game anymore. This is stupid. It won't let me cheat, right? So they'll just leave anyway, right? But that's what I think they should do. They shouldn't ban anybody. They should just move them to their own specific server, let them eat themselves, and then if they come back, then just go and you get banned for that one expedition. So then when you come back again for the next expedition, maybe you won't cheat. And if you do cheat, guess what? You go right back into the actual thing, and if you don't like it, then you get removed yet again. Okay? It says, we've seen a cycle enough to know that cheating epidemics tend to be top-heavy. The rise of cheating become particularly visible online because of Arc Raiders' popularity on Twitch. Streamers play a lot, get good enough to be in the top MMR brackets, and end up likely to play against cheaters that are also majority of the player base. Okay, if the PC gamers running Arc Raiders group chat is an indication, the true scourge of Speranza at the moment, players are using macros of rapid fire kettles. You're using macros? Jesus Christ. Using macros of the miniguns thanks to the gun's impulsively high potential fire rate. The kettle is one of these several guns and gadgets already targeted for the upcoming nerfs, as detailed by the community rep Birdie on the Discord. The dev team says it wants to know that they're also looking to balance, for example, the Stitcher, the kettle, and the trigger nades. Okay, what I think is stupid is that they're balancing it because of people using macros, right? They're balancing it because people are doing exploits with it. Just a little weird. So yeah, these are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think in the live chat. What do you guys think? What should they do? What should they do for the cheaters? Right? We'll just talk about Arc Raiders. What should Embark do to the cheaters? Should they ban them? Right? Because you got to remember, from a business standpoint, players are players, right? So if cheaters are in there, you keep them in there, well, then the cheaters, people start making articles. Oh, there's a cheater problem. But if you put the cheaters in there and people don't see the cheaters and the cheaters are just fighting against cheaters, well, then no harm, no foul, right? Because the people that are complaining would be the cheaters that are cheating. Since they did aggressive-based matchmaking, I'm telling you, if they can make a cheater server, that'd be fantastic. It'd be so good. Because then you have a PvE, you have the sus lobby, you have the PvP of actual people that want to play, and then you have the cheaters, the shitholes of the actual gaming industry. Again, my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Waterbear says, I say about 3 to 4 million cheats somehow. Aku says, I played a lot of Modern Warfare 3 2012, and I only prestige one weapon. There's 12 million people playing art graders. Right, Water? And this means that there's 11,999,900 that cheat. Well, that doesn't make any sense because I didn't cheat. Luke didn't cheat. Clips didn't cheat. Warbear didn't cheat. Mo didn't cheat. So that doesn't make any sense. Butter says, out of the map glitches that took weeks to patch. He also says, so many things that need to be patched. They're also taking more than enough time to patch at this point. Most of the cheating in PvP lobbies of Arc Raiders. Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Would you need to add like 20 lines of code to match with flagged users' accounts? They would need to add like 20 lines of code to match flagged user accounts. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. I don't care what they have to do. I would laugh my ass off if they did it. Right? Remember, they said, no, there's no such thing as aggressive-based matchmaking. These speculations of, hey, I think you get put into like friendly lobbies. And they're like, no, that doesn't happen. And then it started like getting some thing. And then all of a sudden, about 2 weeks before the expedition changed, they actually implemented it and then announced that they did it. Right? So why not? Fix the code, put the cheaters in cheater lobbies, and be done with it. I think they do that in COD, matchmaking cheaters with cheaters. If they do it, fantastic. Think about this. If they did this, and then they tell people that that's what they do, then the people that say, hey, this guy's cheating, then you know the person that's blaming someone else for cheating is also cheating. Jesse Max says cheaters are bad at gaming in general. True. Roic says GTA 6 does that. If he even puts a dunce cap on your... Oh, I love when they did that, Roic. I love when they did that. When you saw someone running around with a dunce cap on, you knew they were cheating. I remember articles being written about it saying how it's not cool making fun of someone. I was like, shut up. You're a doofus, and that's why you have a dunce cap on. It was perfect. It was a perfect way to do it back in the day. Cisco says, yeah, I got the Kittle nerf because the other people. Not my favorite solution. Yeah, I hate that. I hate this when they nerf weapons in a PvE game, right? There's no PvP, and they're like, oh, you're killing the NPCs too fast with this weapon. We're going to have to nerf it. It's like, what? Who's complaining? The NPCs? Power Fantasy, they're like, no, let's tune it down. I say put them in a cheater island for at least 20 games for the first offense. Yeah, maybe you could do that, right? Or if all they have to do is stop cheating. Not even 20 games. All they have to do is stop cheating. As soon as they cheat again, boom. Now, you can manipulate the system and be like, you're cheating, and then you're not cheating. But if they do it like the aggressive-based matchmaking, you have to not cheat for like 4 or 5 matches to get put back into the regular lobbies. I just saw what you said, Titan. Yeah, cheaters need to send in a video apology for the unban. Please, sir, may I please come back into your game? I'm so sorry. What game? What company did that? Who did that? Somebody did that where they had to apologize. What game was that? Pone says, just ban them. They'll buy another account anyway. This is also Bark getting more money for these losers. No, yeah, but don't ban them. No, don't ban them, Pone. You use it against them. You just put them in a thing. They'll be too stupid to realize they're in a cheat lobby anyway. No, that's the funny part. You just put the cheaters in the cheater lobbies. They'll filter themselves out. Let's see here. Cisco, Butter says, Cisco, PvE player myself, and I'm enraged in my new favorite EZ. Aku says, slowly, I'm kind of wondering if Travis cheats because he seems to know everyone that's cheating. What's going on, Drummond? I'm having a great day. Having a great day. You're not cheating either? That's good. That's good. I do a lot of PvE, but I still enjoy going into Stella with the kettle for PvP fun. Sure, and that's the greatest part about Arc Raiders, right? The greatest part about Arc Raiders is that you get to choose. I really like that there's a PvE type of thing. If you want to go play PvE, don't kill anybody, go into the PvE lobbies, but then when you want to leave, guess what? You're going to have to kill somebody, right? And then you get put back into these sus lobbies, and then you get pushed back into the PvP, and if that's the way you want to play, that's the way you should be able to play. No harm, no foul, right? But when you're cheating, there is harm and there's foul, right? You're trying to take advantage over the other people. You can see through the walls. You can see what they have. You can see what guns they're running with. So they just they get to put in like what's the eternal realm? They just get to put into this cheater realm. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Travis says, remember 30. Save scumming is cheating. Oh, wait, it's a single player game. Only person that decides. I remember when people used to get so upset about people save scumming, but it's in the Twitch world, in the streamer world. Aku says, cheaters have an IQ less than 665. They'll wiggle and get banned. I was at H1Z1 and made people publicly apologize for the unban. Is that what it was? It was H1Z1. I remember that. The kettle solution is so easy. It took me weeks to think of it. Kappa, just adding a kettle max fire rate took me very long to think of a solution. Well, that's true, right? You can't get past a certain thing. That would be just make that the rate fire only, and you can't go over that. Yeah, that would be it. So there you go. I don't know, man. I think that's the way you should deal with cheaters. You just take the cheaters and put them into a cheated lobby. That way, they're having fun doing what they're having against other people that are having fun doing what they're having, right? There's no difference between a person cheating and putting in a cheating lobby, a person that's PvE putting in a PvE lobby, and a person PvP in a PvP lobby. Cheaters go in their lobby, PvPers go in their lobby, PvEers go in their lobby. Everyone's happy. Everyone's not being bothered by everybody else, and everyone's enjoying the game. And Embark has a shit ton of people playing their game, right? It's a win, win, win for everybody. Except for the cheaters that start complaining about the cheating because they're cheating. All right. We have another story, which is, it looks like Division Edition, Definitive Edition, is on the way 10 years after the initial release, right? So Crowder was just saying that he went back to Division 1, right? And now they're having a 10-year after the initial release. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. We just have conversations. We just talk about news stories, watch videos, give you my thoughts and opinions if you like that. And get your thoughts and opinions afterwards. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. If you want to hear your chat up on stream, you can always use the TTS Monster. Link is up in the pinned comment. All right. It's been almost 10 years since the first foot in Ubisoft's extraction shooter, The Division. I love The Division. Had so much fun in The Division. Love the survival. Survival was one of my favorite things because it was just like every time you played it, it was new. It was fair because you would have to go into and try to find what you had. And then once you had the best stuff, you would then go into the PvP section, okay, and then try to extract. It was a really good balance of a game. Hopefully, they don't change it too much. They just leave the recipe as it was because that was everyone loved that game mode. Right? If Trump was talking about it, it'd be like, it was the best game mode. It was the best ever. Good game mode, right? It's a terrible Trump impersonation, but one not confirmed by Ubisoft, advertising in the unannounced Definitive Edition was popped up into Japan along with it looks to be hoodies, caps, and tees inspired by Division Anniversary. Although it appears, though, that these are just prizes for players jumping into the game at an esports event rather than simply being available to buy. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff that they're showing there. It says, what does this mean for us? Well, we're not quite sure yet. We can also say that Division, which also was announced in E3 2013 with a trailer that became one of the most talked about in the show, broke sales records for Ubisoft, and a 10-year... It's amazing how far Ubisoft has fallen in 10 years, huh? Sure does seem to be a good time to remind us it exists. With the anniversary coming up in March, hopefully we won't have to wait too long for confirmation. In this case, there's also wondering, yes, 2 years from its announcement, Ubisoft is indeed still working on Division 3, and there's also yet to show off the game and provide us with a release date. Nobody needs to know the release date of Division 3, right? They just started working on it after Outlaws. They had to fix Outlaws first before they moved over to Division 3, right? Chief developer recently said that it believes it will have a big impact as Division 1. You don't get to make that choice. We get to make that choice. The customers get to tell you if your game is going to make an impact or not, okay? Make a game, sell a game, and then we'll tell you if that game is good or bad. Okay, the Division 3 is in production, right? This is not a secret. It's also been announced, and it's also shaping up to be a monster. Okay, said the speaking during the New Game Plus showcase in 2026. I can't really say anything more than that, but this is it. With these walls, and it is massive, we are also working extremely hard on something that also you think will also be a big impact as Division was. Meanwhile, support for Division 2 continues in various updates, and the team is in Paris and putting in the final touches of the Division mobile game. I saw the mobile game. Did you guys see the mobile game? Looks like trash. The Division mobile game looks like trash. Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for that. We were asking for Division 3. They're like, we hear you. We're going to put Heartline, and then we're going to cancel Heartline, and then we're going to actually do another mobile game, and then we're going to cancel that mobile game, and now we're starting another mobile game. So 2 months ago, Massive Entertainment introduced what they call a voluntary career transition program. The studio asked if the staff volunteered to be laid off as part of a move to focus on the Division franchise and its Snowdrop game engine. It came as part of significant restructuring as Ubisoft has also seen multiple studio closures and rounds of layoffs. Massive Entertainment's Star Wars Outlaws released in 2024 and was a big sales disappointment for Ubisoft despite significant development and marketing costs. So, are you guys excited for Division if they're doing something for the Division 10th anniversary? I mean, all they had to do was take what worked in Division 1 and bring it over to Division 2. If you haven't played Division 2, I don't know if Crowded's still here. After you're done playing Division 1, Division 2 is a much better game in every aspect. Every aspect except one, which was the survival game mode, which they're bringing in to Division 2. But Division 2, from the, the map, the gunplay, I don't know if the story's better. The story is better, right? The map is better. The level designs are better. Everything about it.
Best game mode, best ever.
Thank you very much, Eclipse. $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you, President Trump. Best game mode, best ever. Right? So, the Division 2, fantastic game. I know everyone likes to talk about, Destiny 2 and Warframe and stuff like that. Division 2 is a phenomenal game. Of course, it's had its problems over the years, and they abandoned it, and then they came back to it, and then abandoned it, and they came back to it. But Division 2 is a fantastic game. If you haven't played it, it's always on sale. Just to play and go through all the stories and all the stuff you have to do, it's a fantastic game. I highly recommend it. I'm like level 500, 600. Sarge is over 1,000, I think, when we played it. It's just a fun game. I believe I have Division 2. I just I didn't put much time into it. It's a great game. Even if you just play for the story. Even if you just play for the story for the one time. And then getting the New York edition is good as well. Butter says, how about the launch? That's when I played it. It was off. Heard it was gotten better, but I want to know what you thought at launch. At launch, I didn't get it directly at launch. Because Division 1 was one of the most disappointing games at launch. Because when they first came out with Division 1, I did this is the game 10 years ago. This is the game, Division 1 is what disappointed me, and I stopped pre-ordering. Okay? I pre-ordered Division 1. They told me they were getting all these expansions and whatnot, and it completely bummed me out, right? It was one of the most, I regretted buying it. Okay? I regretted buying it. Okay? So, when Division 2 came out, I didn't buy it until after, I want to say it was like 3 to 5 months after launch. Because I remember talking about it as far when it came out, it had issues with server issues. There was just problems with the actual game. So when the game came out, I didn't play it directly as it came out. I played it months afterwards because they burned me the first time. Let's see. Salty says, I enjoyed my time with Division 2, but now, so Division 2 is in production, right? This is not a secret. It's been announced. It's shaping up to be a monster. We'll see. Exactly. We'll see. What's going on, Ghost Wolf? Yeah, I'm pretty consistent when I say, Butters. Like, look, my channel's not about shitting on people if they like something or don't like something, right? I play bad games. I play awesome games, right? Everyone makes those choices, right? My thing is about my whole channel is stopping people from buying something that they're super excited about. Just hold up a second, right? Because a lot of us get blinded because it looks awesome. Like the next game coming out, which does look amazing, is Crimson Desert. Everything I've seen about Crimson Desert looks phenomenal. Okay. Now, I think Altern said it earlier in chat, like he pre-ordered it because it's got a bunch of extra stuff like that. If you're getting it for the gold edition, you're getting it for a statue, you're getting it for physical items, cool, right? But if you're just buying a digital game, pre-order it for what? Like, what are you buying the standard pre-ordered edition for a game for if you know nothing about it and you don't know if it's going to be good, right? Even if the best games come out and they're broke. Look at Monster Hunter Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds came out, 10 million people bought it, and then it was broke. And everyone's like, oh, it's such a good game. But it was poorly optimized. But guess what? It's too late now. It's too late. 10 million people bought it. And they go, cool, the next Monster Hunter game we bring out is going to be unoptimized. Because in your head, not you specifically, right? But in your head, it's like, oh, well, if people are, they're like, there's no way they're going to do it 2 times in a row, right? They're not going to not optimize the game 2 times in a row, right? Right? So it's too late by that point. It's too late by that point. This is why I say no pre-order, no day one, no full price for a half-ass game. If Division 3 launches today, how long will it take to be as good as Division 2? Well, by my definition, if Division 2 is the bar is here and they come out and they hit the bar, then it could be day one. But if they're like, wait a minute, Division 1 came out, was like here, okay, and then they made it up to here. Division 2 was here, and then they made it up to here, right? So, ta-da, Division 3 is going to come out. It's not going to be at the bar. It's going to be below the bar, and then it'll come up to the bar 6 months, 8 months, 12 months afterwards. They've learned their lesson. Look at Ubisoft. Did Skull and Bones come out finished and complete? No. Did Outlaws come out finished and complete? No. Did Assassin's Creed, whatever, insert title here, come out fully released? No. They all had their fixes. They all had their points, and all months afterwards. Did they ever add a tier 1 system to Division, like Breakout, i.e. takes away the gear system in favor of the weapons working like weapons? Did they ever take out I don't know what you mean. Did they ever take the system out? Eclipse says, yeah, I'm waiting. I'm really excited about the game, but I'm waiting for people to play it. Yeah, and like Crimson Desert, when it comes out, again, it's coming out in like March. That game looks amazing. But that's the problem. It looks too good to be true. And remember, it's coming from a company that gave you Black Desert Online. Right? I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy the game, but I'm also saying just hold off. Just hold off for like one day. Wait for reviews. Wait to see what's happening. Jesse Max says, in my opinion, Division 1 better than Division 2 in my case. There's so many good things, though, Jesse, that they did in Division 2. Like the way you look for gear in Division 2 is so much superior than Division 1. Right? The loot grind in that game in Division 2 is so much better. The way you can upgrade your weapons is so much better. I understand what you're saying, that you like it better, but once 6 months has passed and they fix the actual games, Division 1 and Division 2 is a much superior game when it comes to the looting aspect of it. Only reason I pre-order a game is the night before the pre-download. I would be okay with that just enough because you're also not, because if you pre-order ahead of time, let's say you pre-order 3 months ahead of time. They're like, oh, we have 10 million people that are pre-ordering. And they're like, you know what I mean? Like, okay. We don't really have to fix the game because we have 10 billion people that are excited about this game. Right? So let's just see if they notice. But if no one pre-orders up until a point and everyone pre-orders right before, that's fine because that's day one. That's day one. Right? But there's so many ways. There's so many people you can watch. There's so many different reviews. There's news articles, videos, podcasts, people's individual channels that'll talk about that game. And you can know everything that you want about that game before you say, hey, I'm going to give you $80 or $70 for that. Krebs says, if Division 1 launched today for the first time, do you think it would have to perform better than it originally did? That's so hard to say, Krebsy, because we're in a different landscape of gaming today than we were then. I think people were more Division 1 burned me, hence why I didn't pre-order Division 2, right? Why I didn't play it right away when it came out. So to say that if it came out today, would have performed better than the original did, I don't think it would. I'll be honest. If Division 1... Again, the way you're asking the question, if Division 1 came out today as it did back then, I don't think it would be succeed. It would get destroyed because of what that game did when it launched. The interview on the new Game Plus show sold me on it. I didn't watch that, Altern. Maybe I have to go back and watch that. Jason Marshall says exactly what I said, 30. I'm being cautious with Crimson Desert. What's going on, Argus? Yeah, Crimson is a game where you should wait and see for sure. The devs only care about the money, so I wouldn't put it past them to throw a rug over your eyes. Right, like, the game looks so good, and then when the game comes out, maybe something comes into it, and you're like, And remember, games have done this in the past, where all of a sudden they add a battle pass later, or they add something later, and you're like, that seems scummy. Butter says 30, TC Breakpoint had a tier 1 system. After beating the game, it let you turn off gear score and made weapons be realistic. The Division 2 add a system to make the enemies take realistic damage. No. So basically, to make the bad guys feel realistic, okay, you got to remember, it's a video game, okay? So I understand it takes place in a real world. So if you take Destiny, you take Division. Right? One's fantasy, one's supposed to be in the real world type of stuff, but it's still a video game. If I just did one tap to everybody, you get pretty bored pretty quick. Now, the bullet sponges and stuff like that, at least in Division 2, when you shoot the armor, like the helmet falls off or the shoulder pad falls off, and then there's like weak spots, and then you shoot and kill them, right? But if in endgame, okay, if you build your class up correctly, you can kill people real fast. Like, I can kill heavies real fast. Like, when I play with Sarge, I would run the build where I take out the high-end targets, okay? But don't take out the low-end targets very, very fast, but I can melt heavy guys, right? So there's a give and take relationship inside of Division 2. So no, there's not a way that you can all of a sudden just make it realistic and do like one taps or stuff like that. But you can make your build where it doesn't take 1,000 bullets to kill them. Waterbear says, I pre-ordered Crimson Desert 5 years ago. Division 1 had Dark Zone, which is basically Arc Raiders today. So probably. Crowd says, I think maybe yes, because the Dark Zone was ahead of its time. People thought it was too hardcore. Yes, I don't know. It's so hard to say, oh, Arc Raiders succeeded, so Division 1 Dark Zone came in, it would succeed. I don't know. You think it would do better? I don't know, man. There was a lot of problems. A lot of people forget. There would be people that just spawn in front of you. It was broke. So what are they changing in the definitive edition? I have no idea. We don't even know if there's a definitive edition coming out, Aku. They're saying they think there's one coming out based on it. At least the article I read, unless there's something else that says something about coming out. Ghost says, I'll be honest, I'm very excited about Crimson Desert. Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm not saying that you can't be excited, Ghost. I'm not saying you can't be excited. What I'm saying is just be cautious. That's all. Just be cautious. I'm not saying all games that come out that are broke, buggy, and unfinished. But there's way more games that come out broke, buggy, and unfinished than games that come out that are not broke, buggy, and unfinished. Right? So you look at Crimson Desert, and you saw it like 6 years ago. You're excited. Now we're only a couple weeks away. Right? So everyone's like, oh my God, it looks so good. There's dragons and the open worlds 3 times the size of Skyrim. Right? They're saying all the good things. Right? They're saying they show the combat. Everything looks great about it. I can't deny that. All I'm saying is, if you're going to pre-order, make sure you're pre-ordering some like high-end thing where you're getting a statue and like physical material. But if you're going to pre-order a digital standard edition, why? Why? You being excited now or being excited on day one and then buy it, there's no difference. Right? Just don't give them the sale ahead of time, because if they see a certain amount of people buy it ahead of time, they're like, oh, well, we don't have to fix it because they're excited for what it is. Travis says 30, Crimson Desert, they did say that multiplayer mode is coming after launch in the style of a game on GTA Online. And yeah, definitely microtransactions are coming. So there you go. Eclipse says, what makes me more excited is the fact that they're also going to give a review copy 1 month earlier and shows confidence in the game in my eyes. 100%. 100%. Is Breakpoint good? I keep wanting to buy it. I don't know what that is. What's Breakpoint? Is that an Ubisoft game? Sounds like an Ubisoft game. Altern says, the interview is 1 hour long. I recommend looking at specific things because also shows a super long and boring. Got it. Krebsy says they are adding a realism mode in March that turns off the HUD. In Division 2? Where's that at? Did they, did you guys post that in Discord? Division 2 updates. Let's see. This is the first 2 days ago. Deadeye overview event is now live on January 13th. So tomorrow they're coming out with something. News breakdown.
If you are watching this, we are having our baby. So little baby Von Doom is coming out. Thank you guys so much for the congratulations.
I just picked a random video. I don't even know who this is.
All the love and support. And this is just going to
This is Jesus. That's the worst name I could pick.
Because,
Kamikaze Von Doom. Kamikaze Von Doom.
For a little bit. Let me explain. What's going on, YouTube? Kamikaze Von Doom here with another Division 2 video. So sit back, relax, grab that popcorn. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. So here's the lowdown. We're going to be in the hospital for a few days. We're going to be
fast forward there.
Record ahead of time. Drive event, okay? It actually starts tomorrow. My bad, not Tech Overdrive. Deadeye Overdrive. There you go. So the Deadeye Overdrive event.
This is just a monthly thing. Is he talking about? Yeah, I don't care about this stuff. This is just that. No, this is not it. Let's see. Big patch notes. Companion changes. There's companions in
Hey everyone, Rogold here. Welcome
Rogue
back
Gold
to
here.
the Division 2. With this one, we have our second video of the day going over important information that you need to know about what is going into the game tomorrow. Earlier this morning, we took a look at the developer stream that went on, fully previewing
Ghost
the
Recon
winter
Breaking
event
Point, got
that's
it.
set to go live in the game again starting tomorrow. But in this one, we now have the patch notes for Year 7 Season 3.1, the patch that is going to be delivering not only the winter event, but also a bunch of other fixes and changes. This is going to modify the companion dialogue issue that a lot of people have been complaining about, introducing some new surge.
This is not it either. All right. Okay. You say it's a tweet, Krebsy? Actually, wait a minute. I think I... Hold on. Division... Okay. The Division 1 Definitive Edition leaked. Division 2 officially gets realism mode plus multiple updates. Is that what you were talking about, Butter? Division 3 is officially confirmed. So Division 2 officially gets realism mode plus multiple updates. Multiplayer updates. Or multiple updates. Is that what you're talking about? So did they go into more of a realism thing? Well, here you go. Never saw the dude before, and then all of a sudden we picked this video, and now we see a post by Kamikaze Von Doom. So breaking news reports are coming in from the 10th anniversary reveal of Definitive Edition, Division 2 Realism Mode in March, new character addition, no XP/level acquisition, limited HUD, and judgment difficulty. So there you go. So that's fun. If they're doing a realism mode like that you were just asking for, so yeah, I didn't know about that. So that's cool. If that's what's happening, maybe I'll download it and go back in. I had a blast. I have a lot of hours in Division 2. I hear at launch Breakpoint was terrible, but now it's good. Realism mode would also be dope. I can see that they're actually talking about. Just Enough says, I played the beta and /demo and it's also liked, but I was concerned about the microtransactions and pay to win. So that'd be interesting. So March, they have new character edition. I didn't know about the companion. Was there people that can follow you inside the game now? Is that a thing? I've been out of Destiny or Division for a while. Wait a minute, is this a video?
はい、皆様おはこんばんにちは、おついちでございます。ということで、今回は
This is realism mode. I can't understand them, which is fine.
エンターテインメントさんのご協力によりまして、
But this looks like the realism mode here.
実装が予定さ
So let me see if I fast forward a little bit. Is he talking about it or is he showing? If he shoot, I don't know if he's like super OP or if it's actually like 1-2 shots and that's it. If it's 1-2 shots, that's it. That's interesting. No, he's taking he's taking a couple shots. That's a red guy. I don't know who's shooting at. Oh yeah, no. He's taking them out real fast. But he's also doing headshots. I want to see what he does to a yellow bar. Did he just like take that door down with like 2 shots? I want to see a yellow bar. Oh, yeah. So this is definitely a one-tap headshot thing. This could be interesting. I don't know if this gets me back in the game to play like the campaign through again, or if it gets me to come back just to play it like one evening or so. You know what I mean? Yellow bar's coming up. Let me fast forward a little bit. I want to see how fast he takes him out. He broke down that shield pretty fast. Oh, yeah. Well, this would be interesting. Yeah, but here's the thing, though, right? Which I said earlier, Butters, is that when you play this game, if you have your skill maxed out in certain ways, you do exactly what he's doing now. But now this is so it doesn't take me 100 bullets to kill a guy. Certain guys, right? I can kill them with just a certain amount. Like I want to say like 20 bullets. Maybe this brings it down, like you said, maybe to 5 to 7 max type of thing. Who knows? That's interesting. I didn't know about that. This is what I love about the morning show, by the way, that we talk about live events that are happening now. Like I pick videos, you guys come in and start bringing up stuff, and we start having a conversation about the things, right? It's not like hijacking the show. It's like literally, oh, we're talking about Division. All of a sudden this comes up, boom. So interesting. Cool. That's exciting. I don't know if it gets me to come back though. I have to see other things that they're doing. If it's just that, I'm good. Because like I said, my build does that already. Krebs says, we'll see, there's no HUD. Would you know there's a yellow bar? Well, I know the guy. The guys at the end there with the shields are yellow bars. And he was running a strike. Or whatever it's called. And the HUD would mean that if you, like, as he was doing in the video, you don't see the HUDs, but if you highlight over the person, shoot them, it pops up for a split second. Right? All right, let's go to Bellier News. It's a 16-minute long video. He's talking about Naughty Dog, okay? Talking about Naughty Dog. I haven't seen this yet. So if you guys like this, all the links in the description down below for all the news stories that were talked about, the videos that we're talking about. If you want to watch this video without me stopping and pausing and stuff, you can go to Bellier News' channel, watch this just as is. But if you're here, I'm going to pause, I'm going to stop, I'm going to talk, I'm going to give you my opinions. So a 16-minute long video will take like 30, 40 minutes. All right. So I appreciate it very much. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5.
Must be endured to achieve our divine end. That is from the reveal trailer for Naughty Dog's next game. It's called Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, and they print.
I don't know about this game. This
on a commemorative coin that they gave to their staff for 2025. And do you know what's really funny about this? It's not just a game thing, it's pretty much actually true, because functionally, that is the work ethic of Naughty Dog's leadership. And what we're going to dive into today is all of the reporting around just how much of a disaster it seems their internal game development has been. You see, they just put their staff through nearly 2 months of big crunch, all to deliver an internal demo. And
you know, I love this term crunch, right? And again, I always make comparisons to the video game industry, to the film industry, right? Because a normal day on set is 12 to 14 hours. When I worked in television and film, if if I did a commercial, a music video, television show, a movie, right? Most of the times, TV shows and commercials and stuff like that, you don't really go overtime. It's a set type of thing, right? Exactly, Pone. Right? It's just called overtime. It wasn't called crunch time, or because crunch time is supposed to be like it's at the end of like whenever they're putting stuff out, right? It's at the very end, and they're crunching in the numbers to try to get to get it done, to get it finished on the finish line. And even then, it's not done, right? So I always find it funny. It's like the people that are writing the articles are complaining about the actual crunch time, but the people working, making time, they're getting paid time and a half or double time, right? In our industry, it was time and a half, then double time, then gold time. Gold time is that you got paid your whole day rate. So if I made $350 for that day, I made $350 just for one extra minute. One extra minute over 16 hours, I would make a whole other day rate for that. So if they went over it, they had to make sure that they were keeping us, okay? So when they talk about crunch time, it makes me internally just giggle and laugh. I'm just like, that's just called overtime, and they're getting paid. It's not like they're slaves. It's not like they're working and they're like, oh, well, we're going overtime, folks. You're not getting paid anymore. It's like, like, what are we talking about? They're still getting paid.
The thing is, the full game isn't even planned to release for years, which just makes us think, hang on a second, are you basically going to be crunching for years upon years to make any of this happen? You see, for years we've heard hell stories about...
At least the school I went to, Krebsy, they literally told you, okay, they literally told you before you even got in there. Like when I went to school, 24/7, by the way, no joke, okay, 24/7, okay, for 13 months straight, they got us conditioned to get used to the hours that you'll be working. It wasn't a surprise when I got to the industry, like, holy shit, we got to work 12 to 14 hours? Like, you knew going into the business that you were doing that.
Naughty Dog. Basically them just throwing bodies at the problem and burning through their staff. Well, doesn't seem like much has changed. In March 2020, The Last of Us Part 2 was getting ready for release after loads and loads of delays. Back at the time, Jason Schreier was working for Kotaku, and he dropped this bombshell report. And I really do mean bombshell. In it, we learned that Naughty Dog was crunching, and crunching hard. Staff were describing 12-hour days.
Just Enough says they're getting paid if they're hourly. You do understand, though, the people that are paying salary, right? You understand that people that get paid salary, it's already baked in to the thing, right? So the times that you get to go home early, or you put 5 hours in where instead of putting 8 hours in, and then there's other times you have to put 15 hours in, that's included. They know that, hey, if you're a lead designer, in the early days, you might only work 8 hours a day. But then down the road, you might work 15 hours a day. Total, they're like, hey, we're going to give you this amount of money because this is what it is.
And weekend work, pretty much going on and on and on for a long-ass time, the sort of thing that we in the industry would call a death march. And it was all in service of getting the game ready at absolutely any...
100%, Butters. Anytime a game is rushed out the door, or if there's overtime, just like in the film industry, the reason that we're going overtime, or getting double time, or getting goal time, is because the director, or the producer, or the actors, something happened where it's changing. So let's say in the film industry, let's say, and again, I don't know how it works in the video game industry exactly one-to-one, but let's say every day we come onto set and we need to film, okay, 5.5 pages of script, okay, 5.5 pages of script, okay. Well, if we only get 4 pages done, the other page and a half now has to get moved to the next day. So if there's 5 pages the next day, well, now there's 6.5 pages the next day. And it just keeps caking on, right? Caking on until you catch up, and then stuff gets cut, right? And that's the way it works. That's because of poor management.
Cost. But to make things even worse, Jason's report wasn't just about The Last of Us Part 2. It actually revealed that this crunch stuff was going on as far back as 2016's Uncharted 4. Now, that's a game that Neil Druckmann, the co-director, kind of darkly described as a reflection on the drive that leads many people in game development to crunch, which is of course rather easy to say when, you're kind of the boss. Now, to make this sort of thing relevant to like you and me, I just have it in my head. What's been going on with Naughty Dog? Why has their output kind of decreased and decreased?
It's because of upper management. There has decreased because the people that are up in the lead positions don't know how to lead.
Increased over time. Why has...
And they don't want to hurt people's feels, right? If Tom comes in, he has to get... I'm just making... Let's say he has to do 1,000 lines of code. And Tom only does 100 lines of code. But Tina next to him does 1,000 and 1,100 lines of code a day. Well, he's got to go. You got to let him go. He's dragging everybody else down, right? She's trying to make up for him, okay? But he can't do it, right? Well, guess what? You got to let him go. But they don't want to do that, right?
A lot of it being like remakes, remasters, that
1,000 lines of Coke. I said code, not Coke.
That kind of thing. And I have to wonder if they've just lost a lot of their staff because they've ended up being a bit of a shit place to work. Now, at least after that report...
Wait, what did it say there?
Just lost a lot of their staff because
they do try to take care of you, providing food, encouragement to go take breaks, said a former developer. But the most part, implications is get the job done at all costs. One major consequence of the culture has been one of the 20 non-lead designers in the credits of 2016 Uncharted 4, a whopping 14 to 70% are no longer at the studio. I don't know what to tell you. So my class, when I graduated film school, was 150 people. 150 people. Actually, it was 300 people when we first started school. When we graduated, we lost almost half. Okay? Actually, I think we actually did lose more than half. Okay? It was over 300, and we had about 150. I think it was 156 people that graduated. Okay? So we lost more than half before the 13 months was done because people couldn't cut it. And then, okay, and then the people that graduated, out of the 156 people that graduated, 7 to 10 of us actually worked in the business, okay, for 5+, 6+ years. Out of those 10, there was 4 of us or 5 of us that made it to 20 years. Okay. And I think there's like 2 people left that are still working in the business. Okay. Not every job is meant for everybody. Right? Be like, oh yeah, I'll pressure wash. Pressure washing is easy. You're just using a hose. And then at the end of the day, you're like, I can't feel my arms. Fuck this. I'm not doing this again. Right? Crowded says, if you can't get your job done after doing 1,000 lines of Coke, you're useless. That's right. We get someone that does 99, right? Or 999 lines of Coke, and they'll get it done.
ended up being a bit of a shit place to work. Now, at least after that report went out, it seemed leadership kind of understood the problem. They said that they wanted to improve things after 2020, basically between the shift to remote work and the abuse that staff suffered during the launch window leaks. And by 2022, sources actually told Jason Schreier that a freshly implemented production team...
Is anybody else in the same ballpark as me now? Or I just can't... Like Jason Schreier, I used to take him, like, what he said was gold. Now, obviously, this is July of 2022, so this is when I actually trusted him. I don't trust him anymore. Or I don't find him as credible, I should say. Not trust, right? As credible anymore.
Had actually improved things for the company. For a bit...
All right, let me read this. Sony Naughty Dog Studio finally has a team of producers. One of the week's most interesting news nuggets came from a simple tweet by Zach Gonzalez, a producer that beloved video game studio Naughty Dog owned by Sony Group Corp. It's been 1 year since I joined the production team, Naughty Dog, and he wrote the attaching a picture of his team. Okay. Oh. At just about any other video game company, this would also not be noteworthy. But for Naughty Dog, it was a shock. Gonzalez was highlighting the existence of virtually an entire team of producers that had sprung up in 12 months. That was also surprising because he also a company founded in 1984. Naughty Dog has taken pride in the fact that the contrast of the other video game developers is absolutely did not have producers.
Bit of a quote on that. Well, in 2024, the QA lead Patrick Gross explained in a documentary how things had changed. Though obviously, given the existence of this video, I'm not too sure how it went. Here's what he said. When we onboard people, we tell them we have a reputation as a studio for crunching, and it's something that we don't want, and it's something we're not going to do anymore.
Until it's something you're not going to do anymore until you have to. Because if you have a video game that's cost $350, $450 million and you've been working on it for 6 years, well, guess what? You got to get it out the door.
Hate to shock you, but the reports are that they are in fact doing it again.
Of course they're doing it again. It's so simple for someone that wasn't in the company to come in the company and go, well, I heard there was a lot of overtime. That's what we're calling it. We don't call it crunch. There was a lot of overtime. We're not going to do overtime here anymore. And everyone's like, oh, this is great. This reminds me of like when a kid ran for like student council, right, for class president, and was like, we're going to have a soda machine in the cafeteria. And we're like, yeah, we're going to vote for him. And then they're like, yeah, you can't have a soda machine in the cafeteria because we don't want soda in the schools. And you're like, bro, you said you're going to have, oh, well, shit happens. Sorry, guess what? No soda machine. You're going to have overtime. Surprise! Everyone has overtime.
In this case, it is down to pressure. And that's because by the end of 2025, Naughty Dog were under severe pressure. Look, if you don't want to code or you're not into games, skip this, but if not, then I have got something for you, and that is boot.dev/Bellular News. They're today's sponsor, and you know what? Where the fuck were they a decade ago when I was in university?
So stupid.
You see, I've got a BEng computer science, and from doing that, I can tell you that Boot teaches this stuff.
Just Enough says the worst OT I did was 31 days straight with no days off. Did you get an article written about you, Just Enough? Did they write about it? Did they write a story about the crunch that you did?
Incalculably better. Now, what they teach you is back-end development. That's the kind that lands hundreds.
You got to call Jason Schreier up next time that happens.
100K plus comp jobs, and they do it through a proper 12-month structured program that's like a role-playing game. I mean, literally, leaderboards, achievements, a Discord that actually helps.
You know what I love? People will bitch about overtime, but if they have their own business, right? If they have their own business, they're putting in way more time than they've ever put in on a person that they worked for, right? If you ever try to start your own business, right, you're putting way more time in than 40 hours a week, okay? If you try to do something on your own, but it's okay because you're working on your own. But when someone else tells you, hey, you got to stay, right? Like Lumberg from Office Space. Hey, I'm going to need you to come in on Saturday. Yeah, fuck this guy telling me I got to come in Saturday. But if you have your own business, you're like, man, I'm doing crunch. I'm doing crunch. I have to work on Saturdays. I've been working Saturdays for I have 80 hours in this week. I love it. Someone else tells you to do 45 hours and you're like, fuck them.
750,000 students have completed 33.7 million lessons, which is wild, and that's including TypeScript, Go, and Python from the fundamentals up. So this is not some learn to code in 2 weeks silly scam thing. Boot teaches you the fundamentals that separate professional developers from vibe coders who ship security nightmares. And just take a look at their new training grounds feature. It's kind of wild.
Z says, my ex used to ask me if I was getting paid extra. It was at work for even 5 minutes. I've always had times I worked extra. It's my call if I like my job. Right.
It knows what you've learned on their platform, and then it uses that to challenge you, basically generating personalized coding problems using spaced
Can I skip an ad? Yeah, I can skip the ad. There you go.
We'll refund you on the spot. What we're talking about today, then, is 7 weeks of mandatory and seemingly unpaid overtime for Naughty Dog staff.
So wait a minute. Let me hear this again. He just said mandatory, right?
And of course, that's backed up by the fact weeks of mandatory and seemingly unpaid overtime for Naughty Dog staff.
Mandatory and unpaid overtime. So if they tell you it's mandatory and it's unpaid overtime, you're still getting paid, but you're not getting paid overtime. You're still getting paid. You're just not getting OT. Okay? You're still getting your hourly rate, but you're not getting double time, okay, or time and a half or whatever it is, okay?
That ended just before Christmas. So the team found themselves crunching.
And if it's mandatory, they tell you when you get hired, hey, there might be times that we have to go overtime. Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. You'll say yes. It's sort of like hitting the OK button when you hit the terms of service before you play a game. Okay? You're like, oh yeah, okay. And they're like, hey, did you read that thing? No, I didn't read that. Did you understand when the guy told you that you're going to be working overtime, unpaid, right? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. I'll do that. They're like, when's that going to happen?
Again, even though we had all of this PR-ish stuff saying that, oh no, we don't do that sort of thing anymore. Now, this is an allegation that's coming from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, and in his report, he cites people working on Intergalactic. And as for what was demanded of them, well...
Yeah, this is not a Naughty Dog thing. This is a insert company here thing.
It was, at a minimum, 8 hours of extra log development time per week, all in office, and that this was overriding their previous 3-day per week policy. That's 3 days of having to work physically in the office. Now, obviously...
Not the office!
Obviously, if you're working 8 hours more a week and you're not being paid for those 8 hours, I think something's going...
It's in your salary. I know you guys don't want to hear this, okay? You're getting paid for a certain time. Your salary is based on this time. Now, sometimes you might go over that time, okay? But you said yes because you wanted a job. But now you're in that job, and now you don't like... Now, I would assume, and I'm assuming, okay, that let's say they have, I don't know, let's say they have 80 to 100 people working for the company. Out of the 80 to 100 people that are working for the company that went OT, there's probably 3 to 7 people out of all those people that are just like bitter as hell and they don't want to be there, or they don't want to put extra overtime because they want to go to a concert on Saturday or something like that, right? That's it. Everybody else is fine because they probably read the terms of service before they took the job.
Fairly wrong. Now, what's on surface level weird, but I think is not surprising, is that in theory, leadership had actually placed guardrails on this sort of thing, trying to prevent it from happening. But in practice, well, they were telling staff they shouldn't work for more than 60 hours total each week. Obviously, that's quite a lot. So basically, staff had to end up threading a needle here. They had to meet management's demands without making management look bad on the actual official.
For the past weeks, has been pushing its staff to work long hours to get ready for the upcoming review of the demo by the parent company. According to its people familiar with the situation, starting in late October, staff were asked to begin working on a minimum of 8 extra hours a week, and logging in overtime is an internal spreadsheet, said the people, who asked to not be identified because they weren't authorized to speak publicly. This overtime period was also an attempt to get production back on track after several missed deadlines. Now, see, I'm going to highlight, watch, I can't highlight, it's a video, but I want to talk about this part right here. Okay. So the reason that they have to work extra 8 hours a week is because of the bottom line here. This overtime period was an attempt to get the production back on track after several missed deadlines. Now, I don't know what happened with this specific situation, but we have seen those videos. Remember a couple years ago, in a day in the life of a Twitter employee? Do you guys remember this? Where they came in like late, and then they went to the coffee bar, and then they sat down and then relaxed, and then they went to another meeting room, and then they sat there for a little bit, and then they went over to the other thing. Now, I'm not saying developers are like this. All I'm saying is there are people that love to just do shit while they're at work, right? So if there's 10 people in the office doing work, and there's 4 people that are not pulling their weight, that brings everyone else down. This is why I've always said you're only as good as your weakest link, because if day after day you're not doing the deadlines, this is why you have an additional 8 extra hours a week for the next 6 weeks, because there's a bunch of people that weren't doing their fucking job, which then brings down the people that were doing their job, which goes back to, say it with me, chat, upper management.
Logs. You know, do a whole bunch of crunch, but make sure that your actual logs cover your boss's ass. seems sketchy. Now, we currently understand that the crunch period has actually ended and that they successfully completed the demo before Christmas, meaning they can return to basically normal work, including doing 3 days in the office as of January.
So for more staff, in a recent period, mandated overtime ended the week of Naughty Dog's finalized the demo. Management told employees that the company will return to standard requirement of 3 days in the office. Do you think the person that's working at home for the other 2 to 3 days a week is doing full 8-hour work days at their house? Or do you think they get up, walk the dog, go to the gym, go out to lunch, watch TV, right? You see what I'm saying? Come on. We all know what we all do. We all have to work, but no one wants to work. Let's be honest now.
But given that this sort of thing happened for an internal demo, so not the sort of thing you should need to crunch out, people are kind of worrying. And by worrying, well, I have a quote. They are wondering if overtime requirements will get worse later in the development cycle.
I work from home. I'm telling you 110%. You see what I'm saying, though? Right? If you have 3 days in the office and the rest of it is at home, they're slacking big time when they get home. Obviously, it's got to be proven, right? Because if they weren't slacking, then they wouldn't have overtime for the next 3-4 weeks.
You really have to wonder. I think we all know that's going to happen. I mean, if the past is even a slight indicator with this company, it's absolutely going to happen. Because, you see, this stuff was not about the release of the game. That's not what they were crunching for. The game isn't even expected until mid-2027. Let's place bets on whether...
Some teams worked long hours to finish the game's debut trailer, which was released last December, but this is the first time in recent years that the overtime has been mandated across the bulk of the studio. The game is slated to release in mid-2027, according to the people familiar with the schedule, leaving some employees wondering if the overtime requirement will get worse later than the development cycle. I mean, again, upper management has to hire the right people. Upper management has to make sure that they're doing their job. So what needs to happen here is not only do people that are below upper management have to get fired for not pulling their weight, but then the upper management themselves has to get fired and replaced by people that actually know how to motivate and get people to get the work done in the allotted time that they are.
That'll happen or not. It's not currently some Last of Us Part 2 scenario. What this was all about was crunching a demo because of the internal pressure that Naughty Dog have been facing. And this is where I have another quote from Jason's report. This overtime period was an attempt to get the production back on track after several missed deadlines.
So for the past seven weeks, has been pushing its staff to work hours to get ready for the upcoming review in the demo process. The company, okay, the staff is asked to begin working a minimum of extra 8 hours a week in the logging of overtime internal spreadsheets, said that people who asked not to be identified, right? This overtime period was also an attempt to get the production back on track. Yeah, that's why I said that earlier, okay?
It was an attempt to get the production back on track after several missed deadlines. And if you've been keeping up with what's going on at Sony, you'll know that there's probably quite a threat looming over the studio. This crunch was about shipping a demo for PlayStation. Now, milestone reviews are perfectly standard, and in non-first-party games, they're usually how you unlock your next stage of funding. So, you hit a milestone, you get your money. And this basically allows for feedback, course correction, and it lets publishers protect their money if development is completely going wrong. But if several missed deadlines, which is a direct quote from Jason's reporting...
That's upper management. That's not the employees, right? That's not the employees. Let me break this down in a sports analogy for people. If a football coach throughout the whole entire week is making the players redo the plays over and over and over and over and over and over and over, then game time comes, okay, and they fuck up those plays, right? They're just not getting the plays. You could blame the players for not understanding the plays, but at the end of the day, the coaches are to blame, which is the upper management. If the players don't understand the plays that are going on in the field, the coaches are not doing a good job telling them how to execute the plays. Okay? Hence why, who gets fired? Right? At the end of the season, who gets fired? Are the players getting fired? Sometimes they get fired, but mostly they just move on to another team, right? But the coaches, they get fired. Why? Because they're accountable for their players and their team sucking balls.
Have already passed, then that does suggest something has gone deeply wrong at Naughty Dog, and has gone wrong at the worst possible time. And that's because right now, PlayStation are out for blood and efficiency. You see, in their 2024 business segment reports, Herman Hulst explained that they had, and I'll now go to a quote from the man himself, changed the way we support studios through central services, greater operational rigor.
Greater operational rigor, which means overtime.
Which, by the way, if you're at one of those studios, is what we call a veiled threat, but also, probably wise. But to go back to Herman, a much more intentional top-down approach to portfolio, increased oversight of our development processes, and he goes on.
This is legal jargon, right? Much more internal, top-down approach. Upper management down to portfolio increase, oversight of development process. Development process is the devs. The top-down approach is making sure that those devs do their job, right?
And stuff, but you can basically understand that it's all in service of reducing costs, keeping their budgets on track, and, quote, balancing profit potential with associated risks. Not having another Concord, basically. And this is why 2 unannounced live service games at Bluepoint and Bend were cancelled in early 2025. Now, the timing here is actually real important. Early 2025 is before Concord goes and lights itself on fire and dies.
Still, it's gonna be a hard game to beat, but there will be a time that a game comes out and will beat Concord in 13 days. I don't know what game that will be, but there will be one.
So even before Concord imploded, PlayStation had already decided they were trying to get their risk in order. And by that time, we'd already had plenty of evidence. They'd laid off 8% of their employees globally, and they closed down London studios in early 2024. That's all stuff that can't be blamed on Concord, and those layoffs also did impact Naughty Dog. All of that feeds into this story. I mean, if Naughty Dog aren't immune to layoffs, which we already know they're not, and they've missed several deadlines, which reports say that they have, well, would they be immune to having a game cancelled? Now, PlayStation have shown that, say with Marathon, they're willing to throw money at a project
because Sony needs Marathon. I told you guys, Marathon's happening, regardless if it's good or not. They need this to come out. They paid a lot of money for Bungie, and they need something to come out.
if they really have to. But a game like Intergalactic, well, that's over a year away. And if Naughty Dog had already missed several milestones, maybe this increased scrutiny could have...
Yeah, but that wasn't an actual game, Butters. The day before wasn't an actual game.
Push them back to their old habits, back to the crunch. Crunch that arguably gutted a lot of that studio's power, maybe even leading them to this day.
And I don't think the day before cost them $400 million. Between buying the studio and then putting $250 million towards the actual game. Just putting that out there.
Where they're struggling to hit their targets. And of course, all of this is especially the case because the studio's leadership has actually been changing. And I think it all basically means big alarm bells are ringing. Since 2023, Neil Druckmann has been studio head and head of creative at Naughty Dog, leading a revamped team.
Is there anybody more hated as a lead to a studio than Neil Druckmann?
Right as Intergalactic production was kicking off. But he actually wasn't working.
There's a lot. I mean, Bobby Kotick was up there. I mean, it's a different position, though. But Bobby Kotick was hated. Is Neil Druckmann or Randy Pitchford? Who's hated more? Randy Pitchford or Neil Druckmann?
On Intergalactic full-time. His attention had been split between developing the Last of Us TV show, which of course is something the PlayStation have been very happy to support given, game sales, awards, and remember, those game sales aren't for super old versions of the game. No, they're for the brand new remasters that are still selling for...
Everybody's like, Randy. Yeah, it's Randy.
Quite a lot of money. So that was going on. But then in September, he actually announced he was returning to Naughty Dog before the filming of Season 3 of the TV show.
The co-showrunner Neil Druckmann. See, I feel like people, and I'm making a generalistic statement here. I don't hate any of these people. I don't know them personally in any way, shape, or form. Okay, but I feel like Jeff Keighley, Neil Druckmann, Randy Pitchford, these people that are in the video game space, okay, are hell. You can even throw Cliff Blasinski into this feel area, right? Where they want to be famous. They want to be like Hollywood, right? Now, as far as you could take Blasinski out of it, right? Cliff out of it, but Randy Pitchford, Neil Druckmann want to hang with celebrities. They want to take their thing and make it Hollywood. They want to do that type of stuff, right? But yet you've seen behind the scene footage and stuff like that no one really takes these guys, Neil Druckmann, in Hollywood serious, or Randy Pitchford serious and stuff like that, right? So here it says co-showrunner Neil Druckmann didn't leave HBO The Last of Us on a whim. The head of PlayStation Naughty Dog video game studio left because he had accomplished the crazy goal he set out to do in adapting the critically acclaimed, widely beloved video game franchise for television. We have this data. People have watched the show and have come back and bought it PlayStation, bought it on PC. They played The Last of Us, and now it's become a gateway for them in the medium. That would have happened if Neil Druckmann did it or not, right? But he wanted to go in there because obviously, and I'm not blaming him in any way, shape, or form. If what's your next step after video games if you're done making video games, right? I wouldn't be surprised if like Todd Howard, once he's done with Bethesda, moves into television and does something along the lines of that.
Basically,
you know?
Oh, they are famous. Very, very famous for being stupid.
Thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it.
He said he'd been removed from day-to-day work and that other leaders had stepped up while he was focusing on the show. We then see, a month later, the Naughty Dog would begin crunching their staff to hit the demo deadline. Now, obviously, I cannot tell you that there is a direct causal link between the return of Druckmann and the crunch that followed. I can't say that Neil just walked back into the office and said, "I'm getting the whip out, boys! Get working, because Herman's going to kill us all." I don't know if that happened or if it didn't happen. So read this as events that are happening in and around the same time, but are not necessarily causal. But what we can do is we can look at all the pressure that is building on Naughty Dog. We do see a PlayStation that is increasingly ruthless about cutting projects.
There's a lot of things on top of this one studio, right? Because they had factions, they had all the live service games failing. Naughty Dog is, if not the most important studio for Sony, right? Hit after hit after hit, right? Sucker Punch, not Sucker Punch. What's the guys that make I can't think of it now. There's Santa Monica. There's who does Spider-Man? I forget who does Spider-Man and Astrobot. I can't think of the name. Insomniac. Thank you. Insomniac, right? Insomniac, Naughty Dog, Santa Monica. These guys are these are the crown, the jewels on the crown, right? Naughty Dog needs to come out swinging. They can't have a failure. So Intergalactic has to be good. Has to be good. Remember all the articles of Sony not having enough IPs to use, right? Now all the stuff is going down where all the live servers are missing. They cancel like 10 of them. Okay, so like we have to make sure. Not only do we have to make sure the single player games that come out are fantastic, like Wolverine, like in Intergalactic and stuff like that, right? But they also have to make sure that when they're coming out, and they're still working on the live service stuff, but they got to make sure that their bread and butter, okay, of God of War and all of these other franchises are still doing what they're supposed to be doing.
That don't come together. We have a studio head who has returned after the studio had missed multiple deadlines, and a weakened mid-level management that apparently hasn't been able to deliver a project without hurting its staff. All of that combined into nearly 2 months of crunch. And that is because crunch, in a way, is actually the easy way out. You know, I can predict that the video comments are going to be
It's true. Crunch is the easy way out.
full of people saying, "Oh my god, these entitled goddamn game developers with basically fake jobs sitting at computers. What a bunch of whiny crybabies. How about they go outside and do a real man's job?" That'll be there in the comments.
Yeah, that doesn't... I hate this, right? Every job is a hard job. And if it wasn't, everyone would be doing that job then. Right? Every job's a hard job. Right? Being a roofer is a hard job. Digging a ditch is a hard job. Being a coder is a hard job, right? Every category is its hard thing in its own outright. In its own right, I should say, not in an outright. Okay. So to say that my job is different than their job, it is different. So me, building a house is harder than building a model, but building models is still hard if the people that are building models. You know what I mean? Every person doing their job is hard. Otherwise, everyone would be doing that job.
And look, I know what it's like, say, crunching to get a conservatory done in time. You gotta dig the foundations in time for the concrete that's arriving or something, and yeah, you can't wait. The job has to be done. That's basically, my family business. I know what's up there. But a video game is not the same as building a conservatory. And I know that a lot of construction projects are a hell of a lot more complicated, but basically, stay with me here. Software is extremely complex, and while crunch will actually get you, it will actually work. You see, that's the thing. Crunch will work in a limited and specific fashion. You'll accrue a lot of technical debt. You will wear out your team. Because in a world where there's a bit of crunch here and there, because hey, it's the real world, shit goes wrong, I think that's basically okay and completely understand.
Remember when I talked about this months and months and months ago? If two people are working and the person comes in and says, hey, I need you to work overtime. One person says, I'll work overtime. The other person says, I don't want to work overtime. Guess what happens when time comes to get promotions? Who's getting the job? You think the person that's put in the time of overtime to have the extra opportunity, right, to get in with the big wigs or the upper management and be like, oh, this guy's dependable, right? Or this person's dependable over the other person that, they never worked overtime. And then when raises come around and promotions come around, you're like, oh, I didn't get promoted. Did you do overtime? Right? Did you do extra, go above and beyond what you were supposed to do? Then don't bitch.
Understandable. But when crunch just becomes the default way to sort things out, well, maybe that's how you end up with a studio like Naughty Dog, one that now is not able to hit its basic deadlines and has not been able to hit multiple of them in a row, basically meaning that Druckmann has maybe been forced to come back, right? And it's weird because the studio have been talking about fixing the crunch practices for years. They know it.
I love that series. I liked Uncharted. I know a lot of people don't like Uncharted. I love Uncharted. I like those games. I like Tomb Raider. I like Uncharted.
It's bad. They know it's literally hurting the strength of their team and therefore hurting the amount of video game that they can produce for you. And every time, the people involved probably do mean it when they say they really don't want crunch. They can see they're exhausting their staff. They know that it's contributing to attrition. And from what we understand, attrition is fairly high at this studio.
Why do you think they add gyms, coffee bars, food courts inside of these studios? Why do you think they do that?
Even though it's a studio that quite literally makes industry-defining games. But the thing is, Crunch does actually ship games, and it has been shipping games for 20 years, 30 years. We have lots of different terms for it. BioWare Magic is one of them, and more than that, it ships games that top the charts and win critical acclaim. So yeah, they may make some changes and try to plan ahead better, but seemingly they still do miss the deadlines. They find their build isn't ready for review. It happens again. It happens again. Something's gone wrong in the process. Now they see Sony are cutting staff all over the place. They're killing projects. And maybe Naughty Dog starts to actually get scared because something's gone wrong in planning, and that does not change the fact that they need to ship their work. They can't go back in time to fix.
Again, you have to hire the right people. You got to hire the right people and the right people to manage these people. And if you do that correctly, obviously, it's never perfect. You're going to hit overtime in some way, shape, or form. But you have to have upper management understand what they're doing so they can get, so they can do this.
The plan, but what they can do is ask more of their staff. That's the easy thing to do, because for a studio like them, it has basically worked every time before. And maybe this early crunch means that staff will avoid crunch whenever release approaches, but it's almost always the case that crunching and crunching and crunching means technical debt and burnt out staff. All things that reduce the efficiency of your team, the efficiency of your development, which probably means that, if I were you, I certainly wouldn't put money on Intergalactic actually coming out.
If I was a manager in one of these studios, instead of instead of, and I know it doesn't seem like it would work, but let's say you have 100 people, and maybe they have this happening in the studios, and they're still doing overtime. Let's say you're having 100 people working, right? But if you had 50 people, let's say, work from, the morning shift, and then you had 50 people work the night shift, okay? That means you're constantly having people working instead of working and then stopping, and then working and then stopping. You always have a rotation happening. Is that better than, putting people in, right? You have to have a core group that knows what they're doing, and you have to have another core group that knows what they're doing, and they're working as a team. So there's constant, always work going on. Instead of putting 100 people in a room and then falling behind and starting to get burnt out and whatnot. That way you don't have to have overtime. I don't know. I know 100 people is 100 people, but there's a lot more that goes in effect there, right? Because if you have one person that starts to bitch and moan about what's going on in overtime, they don't care about us and whatnot, there's a shift that happens, and it starts to deteriorate people on the inside. But if you have a good spirited group and they don't feel like they're getting overtime, because overtime one night's cool, overtime 1 week, 2 weeks starts to burn out, and then it just starts to get what's it called? You start to diminish returns on your work that's happening
when it's supposed to come out. But hey, they can always rest easy in the knowledge that the crunch did pay off, that they did win. They completed their demo, but more than that, they actually won an award. It's the inaugural Workers' Choice Award for Worst Crunch Culture.
Congratulations. Congratulations on the worst crunch culture is presented to Naughty Dog. Fantastic.
At the CWA union-hosted Avarice Awards. I wonder what sort of staff reports they got. Be pretty cool if some of those staff reports made it into my email inbox. I'd love to hear. But anyway, that is it for this video. Now you guys know what's up. Let me know what your bets are on when Intergalactic will come out, or if it will even come out. And to the award-winning management team at Naughty Dog, congratulations. It's great to see you guys get yet another win.
Yeah, another win for worst.
Speaking of worth it,
worst crunch.
Lots of your effort has.
So there you go. Go check out Bellier News. Links in the description down below for his channel. Go check out some of his other videos. Give it a like. Yeah, look, overtime's gonna happen, man. I'm not trying to belittle them and be like, oh, I would do amazing. I wouldn't have overtime. No, overtime is going to happen because if you start a brand new project on Monday and you're doing fine for the first 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden, Timmy has to call out sick, and he's in charge of something, and his work falls behind, and then someone else gets sick, and their work starts to fall behind. Now you have 2 people of 100 people that are not pulling their weight, and other people have to pick up that slack. And if they don't pick up that slack, it starts to pile up, and it piles up for so long because the management doesn't really realize that they're behind. They're like, it's no big deal, and it just keeps piling up. And it just keeps piling up. And then someone from the upper management comes down to that upper management and says, hey, what's going on? Do we have the demo ready? And they're like, well, see, there's a problem here. Well, it'd be like, great. Well, now you have to have overtime. And everyone's like, but we've been working so hard. How do we do it? Right? But no one thinks about that. Right? No one thinks about that. Upper management kicks his feet up on the desk and says, yep, got those 100 people doing all this stuff for me. Right? Instead of going out there and being like, hey, what are we behind on? Do you need help with something? Do you know what I mean? And it just constantly keeps building up. The movie that I worked on, Never Back Down, the director was a first-time director. I think it's Josh. I forget his last name. But he worked with digital and not film. And then when he worked on the film, using actual film containers, he went well over budget because he was shooting like it was digital and not film. And this was right at the cusp of when stuff was digital/film, and completely blew the budget of the movie. Because with film, you have to know what you're doing, and you do takes before you, like dry runs before you actually film it. With digital, you shoot everything, multiple angles and stuff like that. And it was a complete and utter clusterfuck. Do they have a project manager for computer games? They have project managers, but the problem is most of these companies look at what happened with Xbox with when Bethesda, was it Arcane Studios? Is that what it was? Oh no, Austin. What was it? Arcane Austin, right? When they were doing Redfall, before they got bought out by Microsoft, Bethesda was letting Austin do their own thing. And they didn't want to work on Redfall. They're like, this is not the game we wanted to work on, right? And then when they got bought and they heard the rumors of being bought, they're like, oh, maybe they'll cancel us and they won't do it. And Microsoft's like, no, we're hands off. We're hands off. You guys continue to do what you're doing. Because Bethesda was telling them, oh yeah, it's fine, right? Everything's fine with this game. And the people working on the game are going, we're in trouble, right? It's because they had no upper management. And then the upper management basically failed them. And then the upper management of Bethesda failed them to checking in with these guys. And then when Microsoft came in, they failed to check in with this guy and this guy. And it was just a big clusterfuck. Upper management failed, where even the people that were working on the game didn't want to work on the game. This happens all the time. A lot of people get into the industry. This is across all walks of life. People get into the business not because they want to make games. They get into the business because they want to make money, right? Obviously, you want to make money, but at the same time, you also want to make the thing that's going to be awesome to bring in that money, not just get the money and give a half-assed project. Right? This is why I always say make a game, sell a game. Make a book, sell a book. Make a movie, sell a movie, right? People get into the business because, I can make a lot of money with that. But that's why it's art. And that's why the artists get to decide what they want to make. And then the people want to, if they think that art looks good, then they'll be like, hey, I'm going to buy that. But now the industry is telling you, you don't like that? Well, then you're the problem because we made this thing and it's going to sell. And you're like, well, it's not a game or it's not done. And that's the problem. A lot of the people in the upper management are not in it for the game. Literally, not in it for the game. They're in it there for the money. There you go. Ubisoft Japan announcement video for Division 2, which is unveiled for the first time. The Division 10th anniversary premiere is now available.
Millions of agents around the world answered the call and stepped into the snowy streets of New York for their very first briefing. Since then, the ranks of the Strategic Homeland Division have welcomed countless new recruits, guiding players through endless challenges across New York and Washington, D.C.
2026 marks a remarkable milestone in the history of the Division franchise. This March, we celebrate not only the 7th anniversary of The Division 2, but also the 10-year anniversary of the original The Division game. To commemorate a decade of service, a few weeks ago, The Division has received a 60 FPS.
I love the fact that we're now excited that we're finally getting 60 frames per second.
Update for PlayStation 5. And none of this would be possible without your support. Thanks to your passion and feedback, the Division universe is bigger than ever, giving us the creative freedom to explore everything this franchise has to offer.
Today, we're excited to give you a first look at the anniversary celebration, featuring the new realism mode that will be playable at FPS Day X and more.
Exclusive to the Warlords of New York expansion and available only during the anniversary season of March 2026, Realism Mode is bringing a fresh experience with new challenges. The team wanted to try something new, with the expansion serving as the perfect testing ground for experimentation. And since we're celebrating 10 years of The Division, what could be better than returning to the streets of New York in The Division 2? Expect action-focused combat with reduced time to kill and realistic weapon damage based on bullet caliber. Realism Mode allows you to progress through the Warlords of New York campaign, featuring a new twist focused on immersive gameplay. The mode offers...
Does it work the same way? If you get shot, you die that fast? Does it work the opposite way too? You get 2 bullets and you're done?
Classic realism elements like reduced UI, limited HUD, no health regeneration.
Oh, it's limited HUD, not no HUD.
Scarce ammo, and longer reduced UI, limited HUD, no health regeneration, scarce ammo, and longer skill cooldowns. Realism Mode is your chance to experience The Division 2 like never before. Raw.
That would be a completely different game. Completely different game.
And unforgiving.
This March, we're also inviting all players to join us for an unforgettable season of rewards and surprises. Bringing the...
If this was my mother, I'd be very upset because the way she's talking to me, it just sounds condescending. She just talks to you in a very calm voice. Be like, like, let me rewind here.
To join us for an unforgettable season.
It's like, okay, you just have to sit down and you just got to do your homework. And it's like,
of rewards and surprises, bringing the spirit of the original global events from The Division to The Division 2.
Internally, I feel like she's screaming, but outside, she's very calm.
Along with XP multipliers. The 10th anniversary season has something for everyone, including named and exotic items, along with an exclusive Tom Clancy titles collaboration. Unlock iconic outfits through the Anniversary Pass as the Clancy universe comes together to celebrate The Division. Gear up for the ultimate crossover event where worlds collide, and step into the shoes of legendary heroes from across the Clancy games: Splinter Cell, Siege X, and Ghost Recon.
She had to be a therapist beforehand. How does that make you feel?
And show off your style like never before.
And following the anniversary season, we're stepping into Year 8, a new chapter for The Division 2, packed with exciting content reveals, fresh gameplay features, and ultimate challenges. We'll share more details about our Year 8 plans in March, so stay tuned.
To summarize, today at FPS Days X in Japan, we have only...
Right, Salty? Like, she's like, I fucking hate this! She's just... but in her face, she's like, it's the best that we've ever had.
We revealed the first glimpses of the celebration ahead. And trust us, we still have a few surprises waiting for you. Join us this March for an extraordinary event honoring the Division franchise. There has never been a better time to play the Division.
Yeah, see, Division 8 years later is a much better game now. Why pre-order? Why pre-order Division 1 or Division 2 when you could just wait? And it's a much better game now than it was when it came out. All right, let's see what else is going on here on Twitter. Marvel Studios is reportedly preparing to begin filming Black Panther 3 in June, with the project seamlessly titled Shadows of Wakanda, directed by Ryan Coogler. Oh, did you hear they canceled Blade and they're making a Midnight Suns movie now? They had to crunch that video. That's right. They had to get that video out real fast. Worked overtime. Oh, the game Hytale has already sold 1 million copies. That comes out tomorrow in early access. We'll play it tomorrow night. Have not pre-ordered yet. But we'll check that out tomorrow evening. I think it comes out tomorrow. Yeah, we'll check that out tomorrow evening on 30 and Still Gaming. Tonight, I don't know what we're playing. I think tonight we might play, if Aku's available, we'll play Lord of the Rings. If not, we'll play some Roadcraft. Yeah. If you buy Hytale, it's good. I might buy it. I am going to buy it. I am going to buy it because it's $20. I'm getting the standard edition, but I have not purchased it yet. But yeah, I'll play it, and then we'll see it. We'll see how it is. Again, it's early access. It's not a complete game in any way, shape, or form. But do you see how many posts they do? You see how many posts they do? They do more posts than I've ever seen anybody else do for a game that's not. That's. I don't even know. The game's not even out yet. They do more advertisement for this game, which is early access, than Highguard, which is coming out in 2 weeks, and we've heard shit about it. Heard nothing about Highguard yet. Hytale's like every day. Here's an update. Here's a mod. Here's a thing. Jesse says 30 rumor reporting that Fable will come to PlayStation later on. Well, I think we know that, right? All games from Xbox are going to come to PlayStation later. But is it coming out day and date? There were people playing it this weekend, by the way. Well, early access guys. Towerborn's launched next month. Yep. I keep forgetting to play Midnight Suns. It's a good game. It's a good game. Mr. Z says High Guard Teams is busy fixing the protagonist hairstyle. I still think 3 days before the game comes out, they do an apology letter and it gets delayed. Mr. Luke says, I met the ghoul today in Fallout 76. Oh, I haven't even gone back to play that, Mr. Luke. I haven't gone back to play that. Oh, I'm sure they were content creators. They'll do a Kingmaker. Yeah, Kingmaker right before it launched. They're like, oh, we're gonna cancel it and not tell anybody how much longer it's being worked on. They have to crunch. They're crunching right now. It's the week of High Guard. Oh, wait, High Guard comes out this week? No, High Guard comes out next week, right? Yeah, it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 6 months and still no release for Kingsmaker. Remember, that game was supposed to come out. That game was supposed to be out and in our hands right now. But they're like, we should actually make a full game before we do that. Oh, did you guys hear that Avengers Endgame? I'm sorry, not Avengers Endgame. Avengers Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday right now has a runtime of 3 hours and 45 minutes. Hey, what did we say when they announced all the people in the movie? I was like, they gotta make this movie like 4 hours long. It's close. It's close. It's 3 hours and 45 minutes. I was like, if you make this a 2 hour movie, each person has a 2 minute time frame on the right on film. Now that it's 3 hours and 45 minutes, everybody has 2 minutes and 45 seconds of screen time. Like, you're going to see actors in the background as extras. Like, how are you putting everybody on screen? It's going to be ridiculous. Oh, no, guys. Oh, God. Bad news, guys. Bad news for Marvel. I don't know how I'm going to break this to you guys. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Tatiana has reportedly left Marvel and will no longer play She-Hulk. Man, I know a lot of you guys are really disappointed. I know She-Hulk was your favorite show. I know. It's okay, guys. Bring it in. Bring it in. It's okay. Yeah. Oh, no. No. Right? Dark Taco. Dr. Doom's fate is my pain is immeasurable. Yeah, it's so bad. So bad. Sorry. High Guard paid a huge amount to the final reveal of the Game Awards and haven't posted anything since the day a month ago. The game is supposed to release in 2 weeks. Yeah, haven't heard anything about it. Haven't heard anything about it. Amazing. Meanwhile, Hightail. Think about this. Hightail got closed down by Riot Studios. Nothing happened for 3 months. In end of November, beginning of December, the guy that bought back Hightail, and Hightail was dead, is now coming out tomorrow. Okay? And they have 1 million people that already purchased the game, and yet Highguard, who paid a shit ton of money for the Game Awards, and we haven't heard a goddamn thing. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, chat. Does Alter need a hug? Yeah, he's upset. Yeah, She-Hulk. I know. Avowal will be $20 cheaper on PlayStation 5. It's launching on $49.99 versus the Xbox release last year at $69.99. PlayStation version will have an all anniversary updates too, like a new game plus mode, photo mode, and new weapon type. Fantastic. See PlayStation. If you wait, you get a game with more stuff on it for cheaper the price. I know it's crazy. Dark Taco says this no comms approach is so weird. They just know that their game is just amazing. All the advertisements, see Dark Taco, this is how they do it. They're like, if we don't say anything about our game, then maybe they think that we think that our game is so perfect that we don't need to say anything. We showed it. That's it. Right? They're like, that's the market strategy. Like, everyone's like, wait a minute, they haven't said anything. Man, they are super confident in their game. 1 month, haven't said anything. Man, this game's got to be awesome. We'll see. We will see. It's like, make it make sense. All right, guys. We're going to shadow drop a game no one's talked about for 4 years. We're going to pay a shit ton of money to give Jeff Keighley so we get the last showing, and then we're going to go silent again. Why did you just stay quiet like you did for Apex Legends the entire time and then just drop it on a Tuesday and just be like, hey, there it is. The map expansion is big on 76, is it? It makes no sense. They went completely silent the entire time making the game. We don't even know if they had crunch time. They're so good. They were so good. We don't even know if they have crunch time there. This is the greatest game ever created, High Guard. They're either cooked or are cooked. It just makes no sense to me why you wouldn't say anything. Pokemon's coming to Lego. Lego is collaborating with Pokemon. Uh-oh. No, we're all talking about High Guard. Oh, my God. My voice just cracked like I'm 20 years old. We're all talking about High Guard because no one's talking about High Guard. Why pay all that money? Why are we paying all that money if you're not going to even talk about it? It's so strange. There's more articles about Hytale than there is about the game, about High Guard. Pokemon Fortnite Lego game mode incoming. Yep. What's the over under for High Guard servers shutting down? We talked about this on GXG. Sarge says it's going to be done by what did he say? February. He said by Groundhog's Day, right? Which is February 2nd. Sarge is giving it 1 week. I'm giving it till May. I think I said May 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. 25th. I said May 25th. I said by the end of May, High Guard will be shut down and done. Sarge said by February 2nd. We'll see. At 12:30. All right, hold on. I'm still putting stories in over here. Tonight, over on 30 and Still Gaming's channel, my other channel, where we play video games. We'll be playing some games tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. I just play video games. It's just a time for me to play video games, and you guys can chat with me as I play video games. Highguard is one of the most bizarre gaming stories I can remember. So far. Right? So far. What do we know about Highguard? Like, what do we know about Highguard? All we know about Highguard is exactly what Crowder put. Titanfall 3 and Apex guys. Right? That's it. It's like, oh, Respawn, Titanfall, and Apex guys made Highguard. And we're like, okay, but what's Highguard? It's a PvE, PvP, or PvE, PV, whatever, right? It's like, great, but what is it? Is it story? Is it just, like, nobody knows. And there's people like defending it. I get it. You can defend it, sure. But what are you defending? You have no idea. You know is just as much as we know, and it's nothing. We know nothing. Horses and wall breaks. That's it. Nobody knows anything. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 and Black Ops 6 Warzone was number 2 most played game on PlayStation and Xbox for the week ending in January 3rd. Here we go again, guys. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense to me how nobody bought Call of Duty. Nobody bought Call of Duty. But yet Call of Duty is number 2 for 3 weeks in a row now. Okay? Nobody bought Call of Duty. Yet Battlefield 6 keeps dropping further and further down. Right? Number 8 on Xbox. Number 9. Oh, I'm sorry, 11. 11 on PlayStation. More people are playing WWE 2K, Marvel Rivals, Arc Raiders, Madden, Minecraft, NBA 2K, Roadblocks, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, and Fortnite. But nobody's playing Call of Duty. El Dente, what's going on? It says, I know there's horses, and then I'm not playing it. That's it. What else is going on? Microsoft rewards, Xbox, how to make 10,000 points per month. No, I don't give a shit. We now have a clear, accurate timeline for the Xbox Series S and X from launch to May 10th of 2022. Okay, well, hold on a second. Let me bring this up. I have no idea. There's no article. They're just posting stuff. Zubitech says, we now have a clear and accurate timeline for Xbox Series S and X sales. From launch to May 10th of 2022, 12 plus million units sold. Okay. December 31st of 2023, 22.2 million units shipped. And December 31st of 2024, 26 million shipped. Now, I have a question, chat. How come they used the word sold and shipped? Because people love doing this, right? Now, sold is from when they give it to the box stores, they are sold. The box stores buy those, put them in the thing, okay? And they're also shipped. This is why we use the term ship, because it's not sold until it goes to the person's house. But people love doing articles saying that 75 million shipped, not sold. There's a difference between sold and shipped. They're always sold to the actual distributor, okay? But sold to the actual consumers that actually have it is a completely different thing. So this is weird, though. 26 million units shipped, but we know there's, 35 million sold or 38 million sold? So which one is it? Is there only 26 million shipped? And there's 35 million people using Game Pass? How's that working? Because COD numbers, total pass COD titles. That's fine, Titan. But remember, Call of Duty's, this is the worst Call of Duty since the last worst Call of Duty. So if Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was bad and Call of Duty Black Ops 7 was bad, there's a lot of people playing bad Call of Duty games, and it's still number 2 on the list. Mr. Z says 50% of the units shipped went to cloud server farms. Next is units returned from Costco. I love how they do this, though, but they don't tell you where they got the source from. They don't show the source. They don't link the source. Uh-oh. This might end my son's playtime in Fortnite if this is true. Is this true? Wheel spin times 2 luck, only usable in this experience. Spin the wheel once with 2-time luck applied to the spin. Possible rewards a chance. Oh boy. Oh boy. If that's true, oh man, it's a good run. It's a good run for my son. If a slot machine type of thing goes into Fortnite, he is no longer allowed to play it. Aku says, is Zubitech, he's a walking contradiction, talk about low IQ. Yeah, look, I'll bring up stuff on stream, but I never say if it's official or not. You know what I mean? Because they don't post links. There's no like, where's the story? Who said it? Paramount has filed a lawsuit against Warner Brothers seeking enforce Warner Brothers to disclose financial details of their $83 billion deal with Netflix. All right. I think that's going to do it for us. The Oracle in his dreams. Yeah. Look, everything that we talk about, I put the links in the description down below, right? A video we watch, an article that we cover, the links are in the description down below. Because if people want to look at what I'm talking about, it's there for you to go look at, right? So it's just a little weird when people like to talk about news, but they don't give you a source. It's like, trust me, bro. Just trust me, bro. All right. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, over on our 30 and Still Gaming channel, playing some video games tonight. Out every day, Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do appreciate you very much, and you guys have a great rest of your day, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. Peace.
Up there again. Welcome to the world of 1. Browse a world where grinding was fun. Halo 2 brought online fight. Xbox Live, friends all night. World of Warcraft ruled the land. Raids and guilds, a global band. Guild Wars said no sub, just buy. Fantasy Star Online reached the sky. These 5, Run Escape, Halo 2, Wild Guild Wars, be it. Always online, patching through time. Living worlds we buy and grind. Seasons turn, the loot rolls in. Every reset we log back in. From pixel towns to battle scenes. We're chasing live service dreams. Of Legends, free to play reign, skins and champs, the money chain, Team Fortress 2 with hats on show, cosmetic cash flow starts to grow, Destiny promise, 10-year plan, shared world shooter for every fan, Warframe rising from the dust, Space Ninja grind you learn to trust, Hearthstone cards became a trend, digital decks with no real end, always online, patching through time, living worlds we buy and grind, events drop, the hype begins. Every update pulls us in from mobile fights to cosmic scenes. We're chasing live service dreams. Overwatch squads and payload wars. Seasonal skins unlock the doors. Pokemon Go got us outside. Catching mons with AR pride. Fortnite drop, the island's hot. Battle Pass Gold, the juggernaut. PUBG built the BR craze. Winner, gameplay stays. Apex Legends, squad-based flair. Respawn spin kept players there. Always online, patching through time. Living worlds we buy and grind. Seasons roll, the meta spins. Every patch we dive right in. From payload runs to battle scenes. We're chasing live service dreams. Impact got to rise. Anime worlds beneath the skies. Call of Duty, Warzone fight. Dropping in each endless night. Final Fantasy second thrives. MMO King, it still survives. Roblox builds with endless play. User worlds lead the way. Marvel Rivals joins the show. Superhero squads all set to go. Always online, patching through time. Living worlds we buy and grind. From raids to drop, from skins to wins. Every era pulls us in. History told in data streams. We're chasing live service